This is our paranormal podcast because this is our paranormal community, and we want to support you here on RU Media Network. We are proud to be sponsored by the Haunted Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. Here are your hosts, Brian Mersall and Sean Gilmore.
This is Roddy Scotty, recently just named by Angela Felicia. She wrote this awesome poem. We're going to read this in just a bit. But first, we have to introduce you to our guest this week, because he's an awesome guy. Hold on. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. Why today, guys, of all day? Here we go. All right. So,
hey,
there we are. Man, today, if people aren't going to be able to catch us on Spreaker, I'm going to have to upload the show. Today is the day of IT issues. It's not supposed to happen. My computer's too new for this nonsense. But here we are. Brian, how are you doing today, brother?
Good. How are you guys?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm coming off of a fresh week of vacation. I didn't work for a week, so I'm working. Oh man, I'm playing catch up at work right now. It's crazy, but it's good because I'm like kind of refreshed, you know. So
listen. Sean feels like, he's hit a home run, and that's how we feel right now because we have Steve Hummel in the house.
Oh, there we go. That's an intro for you, Steve. How's it going?
doing pretty
good. Sean, your son hit a home run, right?
Oh, dude.
Oh, really?
Dude. Yesterday, he had a grand slam.
That's what.
Oh, nice,
dude. Is that what that is?
What?
Yeah,
a grand slam's a home run, but he had a home run the day before. And now
he
had a grand slam, dude. And here's the thing, right? So he had a grand slam. His team was down by, I want to say like 6 points because he hit the grand slam and they're still down by 1. And so he saved the game, dude. Now since it is little league, they ended the game on a tie. But dude, they still, man, they came out of nowhere with a grand slam, far out right field, boom. And
nice.
Man, I guess he got in a little trouble for over celebrating, but you know what? How many kids get to experience that that game saving grand slam? You know, that's a dream, man. Man, so cool.
And that's what the paranormal community is feeling right now. You know, bottom of the ninth. You know, almost halfway through their week. And Steve, you're like the grand slam here.
Oh,
so
there it is.
We're really excited
to
dive in and get into all these wonderful topics. So
there it is. And you know how everyone should celebrate?
Yeah.
Everyone should celebrate by getting tickets to Ghost Hunting for Brian. Guys, seriously, I know I'm going to talk about this until tickets sell out, and they're going to sell out really fast because we're already halfway through the tickets for this. We are raising money for how come my thing is gone? There it is. GhostHuntForBrian.eventB.com. Get your tickets. They're $50 each. Sorry, Steve. I don't mean to hide you there. That's not the goal here.
That's fine. I was trying to read it.
Oh, so we're doing a public ghost hunt.
Yeah.
And it's at Middle Point School, at the old haunted Middle Point School.
So I was trying to ID the building there. I couldn't.
Yeah. So
Middle Point School. Yeah,
this is just a poster that I made for the event page.
Okay.
All the information is on that event page. There was just so much to cram in on there that I just like, you know what, less is more, I think. So we have we have Brian Felicia's family up on top so you can see who you're helping. And man, dude, so it's $50 a ticket. You have a $2.50 fee. That's only $2.50 for your ticket is the only money that's not going to Felicia's. All right. They are getting all the money. And at the beginning of the show, I showed this. I showed Roddy Scotty. So I was trying to think of ways. Terry Long told me, you know, I didn't name this doll. So you have to find a way to name it. I don't know if you want to have a contest or what have you. I was like, you know what? A contest would be fun. But then it hit me. why don't I see if the Felicias want to name him? Because that would just make it that much better. Because the proceeds from this doll are all going to the Felicias. So Angela Felicia, she named him Roddy Scotty. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this little poem that she wrote. She even wrote a poem, dude. It's so cool. So I had to make this image here. So Roddy Scotty, a long gone doll like no other, wound up dead when he got shot in the head. When he scared the life out of his mother, she silently wept over the lock of hair that she kept, hoping one day they'd soon be reunited. So he can sit on your shelf or anywhere else. Just don't be surprised if one day you find he's double jointed. Ooh, dude, he's going to come crawling at you backwards. Like,
Shawn, did you want to just move your camera down and demonstrate, or
like that?
No, like on the ground, or
oh, dude, you guys won't be able to tell the difference between my ass and my face. You don't want to see that.
So, okay, that's cool about the fundraiser for it. While I'm thinking of, before I forget, Shawn or Bryan, either one or both of you, remind me. I will one of the 3 days this week, because I'm open 3 days a week at the museum. I will go through and pick out a few items and do like a little a bundle, if you will, and donate those to the cause, and they can do like a raffle for it.
Holy cow!
If that'll help.
Oh yeah, dude, thank you. That's
help?
awesome. Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thank you. I mean, it's not going to be. It's not going to be the execution cap, but we'll put something together nice.
If it were the execution cap, I'd have to make a large donation myself to buy that.
No, we'll put together something nice for him.
Oh,
thank
man.
you.
Remind me, please.
I will. Thank you.
I will.
Thank you. That is so awesome. I mean, this is Brian Felicia's fighting cancer, and he just finished his first round of chemo. Dude, he worked through the entire time. So, and he does hard labor. Yeah, I mean, so
that's hardcore,
right? Dude's definitely hardcore. Yeah. And but I mean, the second round is going to be going. It's going to be happening right around the time that we have this event. So they're going to need this money. I mean, I know he's hoping to work through it, but I mean, who knows, man? The chemo is rough.
Yeah,
it is real rough. So hopefully he can work through it. If not, we want to make sure that all he has to worry about is being healthy, getting better, and so that his family's not in financial distress while they're going through this. And that's what this is all about.
Cool. Yeah. So, we'll do. I know we'll do all we can, and if there's something I think of in the meantime, to even if it's just little as putting a little donation jar on the counter at the museum, we'll do what we can.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
That would mean a lot.
Here is Roddy Scotty himself in person.
That's awesome.
Look at this guy. Look at the detail on that, guys. What I decided I'm gonna do is I have a few donations. If I keep on getting more donations, then we're gonna do the raffle, because if we get too many things, it'll be too hard. But right now, Roddy Scotty is gonna be a silent auction, and the highest bid will win. And it's not gonna be one of those secret auctions. You're gonna see what the person.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Yep, Brian Baum. That's the next big announcement.
Yeah.
Brian is joining us for the ghost hunt. He's going to help us in volunteering at the event. So that's awesome. Let me put Roddy.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah. And so I'm excited to work with him. And yeah, dude. So it's right here, August 7th. It's a Saturday from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Now, here's really something that's really cool. Usually when you do ghost hunts, you don't get to do solos. We're giving you a chance to do solos, dude. For $10, you're going to get a 10 or 15-minute solo run in the basement inside the vault. And for another $10, you can use Austin Maynard's ghost helmet.
Dude, I just met Austin Maynard just recently. He is one cool cat.
Yeah, man, he is. He's actually going to be – he's coming on our show. He might be next week's guest, actually. And honestly, it's just the way that it kind of worked out. I scheduled usually pretty close to a month out, and the way that this all just came together is just like, I asked Austin, he's like, which location do you want? I was like, what? I did not expect it to be that easy, man. And dude, yeah, Austin, he hooked it up, man. So that's why we're able to do this. So 100% of the money goes to the Felicias. Brian Mersall and I'm sorry, there's too many Brians, so I should say my co-host and I, we're donating the money for the food. So we're gonna get right now. We're planning on some pizza. We've got $200 right now set aside for the food, so there's gonna be plenty of food. You
gotta have food,
right? You guys have food and beverages, right? You can't not. I mean, people are making donations, right? So this is going to be our donation. And if we don't spend all $200, then I'm just going to donate the rest of it to the Felicias.
Yeah. And our thought process is, regardless of the paranormal activity, we want to make sure that the night is noisy. So we're going to get the best pizza in town, and you're either going to hear some ghosts knocking on the walls or you're going to hear something else. So
if we have pizza, you're definitely going to be hearing something else.
That's our activity guarantee here, people.
Might get some phantom smells and everything.
It's like our PQ investigation. Every other minute, at the background of someone's stomach's growling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tonight's sulfur smell might not be demonic, but we'll go with it.
Brian Bobo, hey, what's going on, Brian?
All right.
Had to add another. Hey, Brian, please. Man, it's crazy. Like I actually, when I go and invite people to the event pages I make, I'm friends with a lot of Brians, and it's cool.
Weird how that happens, yeah.
Yeah, man. There's quite a few Shawns, but not as many Brians. Quite a few Steves, but Brian seems Brian's and John's.
Yeah.
Yes, it has been a while. I'm doing pretty good. Here I am on my podcast. You should come on sometime. Man, so enough about that. I always have to make sure to start up the show with this big event because it's really important to me. If we sell out to this event, we're doing 30 people, right? So that's $1,500, bam, right out the door for the Felicias. And then if we keep on getting more stuff, my goal is to raise at the very least $2,000 for the Felicias. So, but if we can do more, of course. But that's just my own personal goal. Mm-hmm. So if we can do that beats what Dan Class did. So Dan did a Facebook thing. I can't think of the word now. Facebook fundraiser, and he was just short of $2,000. I want to beat that. So that's my goal. And if we can do more, then awesome. And that's what the ribbon is. Instead of our show logo, I have the ribbon for the type of cancer that Brian is fighting. So that's that. Yes, Brian Baum.
There you go.
Paranormal. We'll also have a basket for the raffle.
Awesome.
Dude, stuff keeps on coming. I'm gonna have to go out and buy some raffle tickets. But I'm not gonna go out and buy a big roll, a roll of raffle tickets, it just adds on to more and more of the cost. And of course, if I do it, it's just all going to be a donation. But I'm trying to keep the cost low. That's why I'm thinking if I'm only going to have 5 things, then it's going to be like a auction, like a blind, a silent auction. But if we end up with more than 5 things, then I'll do the raffle. And I just want to make sure that we're raising the most money. I did research. I'm like, which way do you make the most money? Through the raffle or through the silent auction? And honestly, I did not get a straight answer. It's like, well, it depends. With a raffle, you have to get more people to buy tickets. With a silent auction, less people need to be involved, but they need to make higher, donations or higher bids. Yeah. So it's like either way, it's like.
I will say this. Back when, as you know, I used to be on the board, president of the board, and renting at the Sanford Community Center where the museum used to be. And back when we were actually doing steak fries, we always did a hey, Valerie.
Hey, Valerie.
And we would always do a tip board. And of course, I know it sounds cliche, but whenever they would do bottles of, say, gift sets of Jack Daniels or something like that.
Okay.
And those tip boards would just completely sell out. And little little box sets that come with a couple shot glasses, little things that if you go to sometimes CVS and places like that, sometimes they'll actually donate items like that.
Oh, nice.
Obviously for free. And you just do a tip board on it, and what you make off that's 100% towards your goal. And sometimes people will also do like craft baskets, different things like that, or go to. We have a place nearby called Sworkis's, and they'll get like these really cool like country style like women's purses for like they may only be like $25, but they're actually real good quality, like $40 to $50 purses.
Yeah,
and you do a tip board on those as well. So some stuff like that, you can actually make a good bit of money because sometimes places, if they donate them to you, it's a tax write-off for them. So donating is not a problem if they're willing, if they're willing to do it.
The only thing is that like we're not like a registered
501c3,
right?
Yeah. Well, and sometimes
we're just doing this to help out some friends, So I don't know how, like, because I even reached out the company I work for, my day job, they'll match a lot of things and they'll do a lot of things they love making donations. But the thing is, we're not registered. We're just, we're just, friends that are trying to help out friends. And, so yeah, I mean, this is just something I threw together, man, to try. And guess who's here? Angela Felicia. Angela, you missed it. I read your poem.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, it's awesome. Cool. I
Pretty
love
witty.
It. Look at that. You know what? I was reading it, and I think oh well, the typos make it have more character. So I shared it like a bunch of places on Facebook already. So it's too late, but maybe I can fix it later before I post it anywhere else. But so I'm really excited for this. I really do hope that we're able to raise quite a bit of money. I know that this will sell out. It's just a matter of when.
Right.
Yeah.
We have half the tickets sold right now. So
you got this.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us, Steve. I mean, if someone was living under a paranormal rock, and it's got to be a big rock, my friend, how would you describe yourself? I mean, how did you get into the field? What are all the cool things you've done? I guess how would you describe yourself? I mean, you're like a celebrity to us, but
I'm not really good at what would you call self-reflection. I'm a natural-born pessimist about myself, but I as far back as I can remember, I think I've always been interested in just like odd things. I remember having a few experiences as a kid that I think planted the seed of being curious about supernatural and different things like that. I mean, I can remember sitting in grade school, which actually was Sanford Community Center that we used to be in. And I remember sitting in class waiting for the Scholastic Book Fair to come through and buying that new edition of R.L. Stine's Goosebumps, and different things like that. Which I still have my set, by the way, of those books.
Really?
So,
those have to be worth something now.
I have a little bit, a few bucks a pop, I guess. I don't know on eBay, but they're a keepsake now, and But I think I've always liked that that type of thing. I've always liked Halloween. I remember as a kid, it was always fun. It's just the surreal feel, the magic of that time of year, and of course, you get ghosts and jack-o'-lanterns come with that, so it's I guess the interest has always been there. Once I started working the haunted house at the former West Virginia State Penitentiary, met a lot of other people that had similar experiences, and plus working there, you have those experiences, seeing things and hearing things that your rational mind is telling you that shouldn't be there, or you shouldn't be seeing or hearing.
Correct.
And then eventually, after my divorce, I had opened a gym and fitness center and opened up a diner next to it, and then I started working part-time, seasonal, as a tour guide and maintenance guy at the penitentiary in Moundsville. And long story short, that's where I met my three best friends, Ryan Zackrell, Dave Gear, and Jason McKinney. And over the course of time, we had started investigating with Dave's mom, Polly Gear, who founded Mountaineer Paranormal. And she's also pretty popular there for capturing the Shadow Man picture, May 7th, 2004. And then a little while after that, Dave, Ryan, and I started our own little side project called Paranormal Quest, shooting YouTube documentaries before they were popular. Yeah. And eventually Jason joined us because Jason's group he was with just kind of ditched him a little bit and treated him pretty south. And so we all four got together the way it used to be, and we've been continually making paranormal documentaries up until this point in time.
Nice.
It's a very brief, cut down version of
Yeah,
everything.
that is true. But
in about the
I like that.
last 10 years, I've been collecting haunted items, and I'm also. I think a lot of people don't realize this. I also like to collect items that pertain to paranormal history. Everyone nowadays is collecting haunted items and different things like that, and that's great. More power to them. They're preserving, a part of paranormal history. But one thing I've always wanted to do that I found difficult, because I think some people just really don't understand my view for it, is focusing on the people such as you guys, and other people that get out there and investigate. Focusing on the people doing the footwork and giving them credit, giving them recognition for what they've left to us to go back through, filter through, and prove or disprove, just like we're going to do when our time comes, when we die. We're leaving for people who are going to pick up the torch after we're gone. So we need to be focusing on that rather than, I hate to say, out of the probably 10 years I've collected and probably the 15 years total I've been investigating, I think more people need to focus more on preserving paranormal history rather than using it for entertainment. I think paranormal entertainment is not helping research. It's, and I'm not trying to get down on anyone in particular, but some people use it for clicks and views rather than using it for research.
Yeah.
It's a cold hard fact. And
one of my passions is like diving into a group. If we could start from scratch, I just like like on a like a minuscule level, for each person, what are your paranormal goals? And for your team, what's your team's goal? If it's for clicks and views, that's great because we can get more exposure to the field. But I mean, if there's people that start, or teams that start to further paranormal research, I really think you need to write that down, and you should revisit it, annually, just to make sure you don't stray away from your goals, or if your goals change. But yeah, I do feel that it's not so much about shaping up a clip for TikTok so you get more views, but rather how can you push your team, like all your members, how can you get them more experiences, how can you get them to help realize their goals, and maybe we could figure out a few more mysteries of each location.
Right.
Well, what about there's a lot of people that that feel like in order to get the respect in the paranormal community and from people in the community, you have to make a video or be a part of some sort of video. I've heard that from a couple different people. Me personally, I mean, I don't know. I come from a team that made videos, but I don't know if that should be the case. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't, and they build their names in different ways. But I feel like if you're making videos for the wrong reasons, I mean, what we're dealing with here is more than just making a home movie. We're dealing with spirit, there's risk involved. So what do you kind of like think of people like getting into it for other reasons than trying to connect to spirit and things like that?
That's kind of a real. That's an interesting rabbit hole.
It is.
Because you have a gazillion, belief structures, religious structures, creeds, faiths out there. So you're going to have all that many responses to that. Now, and this is how I normally respond to a question like that, because you asked me, I come from, which I get a lot of weird looks from both the paranormal community and at my church. I come from a Protestant stance. So my position, I have right now two goals. One is to help explain to people what might or might not be going on at their house. If it's something naturally occurring, I'm going to say your house is not haunted. There's nothing going on here. it's something happening naturally. I also want to be able to be the type of person being ordained and going back into college studies, not just Google.edu. I'm going back into church ministries and focusing and learning from actual people with doctorates, and I'm not saying that to be, I'm not trying to be greater than now. It's not what I'm wanting to do. I want to make sure what information I get comes from a very credible source. Because if you're learning anything, whether it's medical, whether it's ministries, whether it's whatever, the information you're learning, you're going to be conveying to other people in one way, form, or the other. And one of the big things I learned when I was going to school in Florida at Warner Southern University for church ministries, Dr. Mac Regal told me he uses a form called Each One Teach One. So if I get taught something, if I were teaching to somebody else, I'm reinstilling my education to myself, but you're passing it along for future generations. And you can apply that to anything. You can apply that to any form of study. And it's very, very important. Because I think it would be selfish to keep information to oneself and then die with it and not pass it along. Because you don't know someone else that you're going to cross paths with might need that information farther on down the road in their lives.
Correct.
So I want to be able to, one, go to a location, residential or whatever, and be able to help the person, explain to them what may or may not be going on. But I also want to be able to be there for them spiritually. If and when, I'm not forcing it on them, but if and when they would actually, need help.
Yeah.
But with, along with that, with Paranormal Quest, which, I'm one of 4, we approach Paranormal Quest from a non-biased perspective. It has from day one, since we started doing our documentaries, like I said, before they got popular, we look at it through a very transparent lens. So we don't, I don't necessarily bring my belief structure to it. Ryan, Dave, Jason, we all look through it. It's either not paranormal, it's unexplained evidence according to what we've been able to, form or formulate, or it might be paranormal. And it's very, very rare would we consider anything paranormal. Yeah. Because there's methods out there that, we don't know everything. There's methods out there that maybe we haven't heard of yet to run it through the gauntlet to see if it's unexplained or paranormal. So that's definitely, I think, the best way I could answer that for you.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. I know you guys went through a series where you went and made docuseries about some of the private investigations that you guys did. That was I really enjoyed that.
We had a lot of fun doing that one.
That was oh man, those private residences, those are my favorite. So that maybe that kind of just like had a special place for me. But real quick, let's talk about Paranormal Quest a little bit more. Here I'm blocking us all out. This is your team. Who is everybody on your team? So everybody who may not have heard of you guys.
Okay. Well, the way I'm looking at it, to my left is me. And the guy with the sunglasses on and the Archive of the Afterlife t-shirt, that's Ryan Zackrell. And then going on the other side, the guy that has the police officer coat and the Paranormal Quest toboggan, that's Jason McKinney. And the guy with the black hoodie on and the glasses is David Gear.
Nice. Awesome.
Now, I'm not trying to talk down to you right now, but I think you need to get one of those hats. Man, I think way to the right. I mean, I mean, come on now. I don't know.
I actually wore that once. I wore that one time.
I mean, if it's cold enough, why not? Now,
I will say I wear shorts in wintertime, so I very rarely get cold. So,
well, you live you live in like West Virginia, though, right? You live in Moundsville, right?
I do,
which is freaking amazing. But so now, you guys, do all of you do tours at the Moundsville Penitentiary, or is it just the David and I'm so sorry.
Well, right now, the only one doing tours there is Jason.
Okay.
Ryan just recently kind of stepped down from doing tours. Dave did tours voluntarily for the overnights, and I had worked there as a tour guide for about 13 years, but that hasn't been for the past few years. Just over a difference of opinion of historical preservation, and I didn't get my mouth shut about it. So
okay, well, I'll tell you what, I've heard nothing but good things about the Paranormal Quest guys that do the tours. So, you guys, I mean, the passion's there. Which,
we love the place.
Yeah.
It's not the politics.
Well, politics get in the way of like everything, literally.
Oh, absolutely.
So
that's like, I like having the museum. So if I get bad at myself, I just fire myself for the day, then rehire myself the next day. So.
Brian Baum says that the cabin was.
Oh, yeah.
The cabin. That was. You guys like.
That was intense.
You guys like went and like dug into the ground there, like literally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're nuts. We don't. Yeah. I mean, and I don't mean that arrogantly. If someone says don't do that or because this will happen, we're going to do it.
That's exactly what happened. They're like the bad things happen. What I don't remember the exact thing. It's been a while since I watched that one. So
well, with the cabin, long story short, there's a 3-part miniseries called The Cursed Cabin. Just as Brian pointed out there, Brian Baum. Every man that lived in the cabin, either in the cabin or shortly after moving out of the cabin within that family, died mysteriously. And it was so weird. The second time we went to investigate it, we got, of course, permission from the property owner. She informed us that a boy, not of the family, made communication with her and asked her if he could go down to the cabin, which is down behind her house about 400 yards or so. Asked if he could go down there and get copper out of it, and no one's using it. It's part of it was burned out and stuff like that. She told him I wouldn't go down there. She told me she didn't say no. She just said I wouldn't go down there. 3 days later, right above her house on the main road, they found him dead of an overdose, and they're out in the middle of the woods. There's no city, nothing like that around. He was just over in the ditch, died of an overdose. Coincidental? Maybe, but the fact that pretty much every male person involving that house that lived there, either in the house or out of the house, died. I find it very, very odd. And I will say this with permission. I always use the word with permission. I do have the cursed mirror from that cabin in my collection.
Oh.
And it's actually, a lot of us strongly believe is actually a portal. I have a room in the new museum we call the Dark Room. And being that I got the new place and there's multiple rooms, I can actually keep the negative stuff away from everything else. So people, if they don't want to see it, they don't have to see it.
Okay.
But it's strong. I've had people, and one of them was a Cameron police officer. He just stopped and asked if he could go through the building to see how it was laid out, just in case there was an emergency. I said, yeah, sure, man, we'll walk through. And we got to the dark room. I told him, I said, now this room, there's a lot of, we'll just put bad energy in it for crude layman's terms. And as soon as he walked in there, first he said, oh, man, I got chills. As soon as he walked in there, 9 times out of 10, anyone goes in there. Actually, 2 weeks ago, my friend Sean Austin, he was on Ghost Loop, the TV show. Mm-hmm. I was friends with him for a while. He and Eric came through. They were doing their haunted road trip from hell or haunted road trip to hell. And we took one of my haunted dolls that's in that room out, and we heard a disembodied little girl giggle. Ooh. Like it was really creepy, but it was right next to that cursed mirror. So it's an interesting cabin. A lot of interesting energy.
That mirror could also be kind of adding to the energy of the items that are in there.
Absolutely. That room doesn't have a ton of stuff in it, but what it has in there is enough. And a good friend of mine, Eric Murphy, we're working out because he's from Memphis, about over 10 hours away. He's going to be bringing up a haunted doll in what he believes to be a Dybbuk box. So I'm really interested to see what happens with that.
I've never seen a real Dybbuk box before.
I haven't either. That I would consider one.
Yeah.
There's ever since, Zach's got one out in, his museum in Vegas. I haven't seen it yet, but ever since he's got one, now every Tom, Dick, and Harry has one. So
well, they sell them on like eBay or something. They're like, oh yeah, it's got a seal on it. They put some Hebrew letters on it. It's a Dybbuk box.
We were hoping that we get to the our favorite portion of the podcast where we all go on the dark web and order divot boxes together. So hopefully,
Let's do it.
we were
Let's do
hoping
it.
if we could use your credit card this time. Ours keeps getting hacked for some reason.
Yeah, why not?
Nice. We can even get one of those mystery boxes.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched those
You never know
mystery
you're gonna
box
get on the
videos?
dark web.
Oh,
So.
yeah.
I'm a definitely curiosity kill the cat type, so I'll try
Yeah.
anything twice.
Right.
They
Right.
say if you use the incognito browser on Google Chrome, you'll be A-okay. So, what's the harm?
Oh, you mean that's not just for porn?
I don't even know.
Oh,
Damn. I've been using it wrong.
that explains a lot.
Real quick, the museum is called Archives of the Afterlife Paranormal Museum.
Yes.
I know I was at the old location, and there was a doll there that really affected me. Do you remember which doll that was?
Was it Betsy Bell, the one in the little box?
Yes.
The one with the little folding box, little mini trunk looking thing?
Yes. So what I did was I put my Trifield natural meter on the edge of the box.
Okay.
And it fell into the box. And so I was like, oh crap. I'm like, okay, well, I have to go grab it. Because I really didn't want to touch this doll. I just didn't. I'm an empath. So I went, I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I have to grab this. I don't mean any disrespect. And I grabbed it. And I touched the doll by accident. And I was off for the rest, just off kilter. My energy was just off. I didn't feel right. It was weird. And I'm like, okay, and I was there with my old team. And I'm just like, okay, I need to investigate this doll more. So I know I've talked to you about this before. I still want to set this up. So I have alone time with this doll so I could figure it out for myself. I know you've investigated it with your team and you know her pretty well.
All right.
But for me, haunted objects, it's I don't know. I just haven't, just by touching something for it to affect me like that. It's just I want to know more.
It's different, and
yeah,
there's certain items. I have a few with me that I have to kind of. I'm not afraid of them. There's nothing that I wouldn't put in my museum. So, but there's sometimes I have to limit myself because they'll really affect you. They'll affect your energy. Like there's times where with the new place, because there was at least there's 2 reported deaths from inside the house, 2 elderly people, and then it used to be a stacked duplex. Now it's back to being one big house again. And there was a girl who lived on the 2nd floor apartment. Her name was we'll just say Sherry, but she died in a really bad car wreck in a somewhat nearby town, Fairmont, West Virginia. But she had been living in that upstairs apartment during that time. So there's at least 3 deaths, connected to the house. But with everything else I have in there now, there's times where I don't even feel comfortable walking through the place to turn the lights out and check the back door to make sure it's locked. Because I got to check 10 different rooms out, and and it's in the way the house is laid out. It's interesting. You don't really have have one straight stretch hallway and that's it. And the last stop on the tour, the last stop at the end of the upstairs hallway is the dark room. And when you walk in there, it's just they already know you're the last one in the building. You know what I mean? But there's sometimes it's weird. I want to just sitting down. We have a nice chair that people can sit in if they want to in there and just kind of vibe with the items in there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll sit down in there because once I get in there, I feel weirdly, oddly okay.
Okay.
So I'll sit in a chair, and before I know it, a half an hour, 40 minutes passed.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it's like TikTok.
Yeah, in a way,
because
the way I have the chair set up, you're kind of looking directly at the Hope doll. Okay. Which is, pardon my French, I hope you guys don't get mad, she's a bitch.
No,
she really is.
You want.
And because a lot more information about her, evidence has come out from her lately that's really, really unsettling. And she's made a lot of people uncomfortable where they won't even go in the room. But so where I'm sitting, I'm looking at her, and then to the right of it and back in a closet is the cursed cabin's mirror. So
Okay.
you're looking at both of them almost equally. And I kind of did it on purpose, but when you sit there, I mean, sometimes you'll really zone out.
Yeah.
And the like, I'm not trying to. I mean, even if it wasn't my place, museums like that place that harbors historical relics,
Yeah.
whether they're mean to or not, there's a lot of like antique shops.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of energy in those places.
There really is. And, I've been on investigations where I've just kind of like spaced out and kind of lost track of time too. It's easy. When you're in tune to it, it's easy to kind of, I don't want to say sucked in, but you get involved with what's going on around you. So that's really cool. Now, when you, before you moved, you got a Bible.
666 Bible, right?
I believe. Was it
in a little glass case?
It was right before you moved. Was that the 666 Bible? No, the 666 Bible you had when I was there.
Right.
I'm talking about the Bible from the woman.
I forgot about her, Eileen Wuornos.
Yes.
Serial killer. Yeah, I do have her Bible that she had on death row. I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
Do you still have that Bible?
Oh, absolutely. It took me over a year to get enough money to get it.
That
was bad.
So, have you found anything interesting with that?
We've had a few things from that. We did a live feed at Ryan and Dave's apartment with it when I first got it, and we heard footsteps up above us in Ryan's bedroom. No one else was in the house either.
Yeah.
And we've had a few like K2 REM pod spikes involving that as well. We've really tried to bring Eileen out a little bit with it, if at all, So I got it for the historical value because I thought it was freaking awesome. It's one of my. Unfortunately, I feel really bad with what happened to her. I mean, I'm not condoning what she did. She murdered people, but she had a horrible, horrible childhood. I really believe that she should have went to a hospital rather than, for what happened. But hey, Jeb Bush was going for re-election, so.
So, real quick, Aaron Kaczmarczyk says she would give anything for a night with that. Aaron, which one? We've just talked about several options. Are you talking about the Bible, or are we talking about the doll? Aaron, we can make this happen. By the way,
you guys should do an event.
Oh,
I'll throw you guys a deal. I'll throw you guys a deal with the normal overnight price.
Okay.
And that way it'll help you guys out a little bit, and then we can get a group of people. I recommend between 10 to 15, no more, because it's a big house, but not a big building.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
I've been telling Brian about you and about your museum. The reason being, I don't know if you follow our show at all. But Brian has his doll named Barb. Brian, tell us about Barb. Tell Steve about Barb, because Barb has become like a huge thing around our show. Like, it's crazy.
All right, Steve. I'll give you the cliff notes. I ran a college group, and as the president, we in charge of budget, went to Target, saw a little Raggedy Ann doll, bought it, named it Barb. Went on all our the college investigations, which included Moundsville, by the way, my friend.
Nice. Heck yeah.
She's visited there, don't worry. But then when I graduated, she was still with the group. And in Iron Island Museum, which is next to Para Oddities in Buffalo, New York, apparently there were some people were feeling scratched, and the tour guides thought it was the doll. So the current president gave Barb away. And then we just couldn't find her. I was like, what? You just gave away Barb, they said that they might have a paranormal museum that might be able to like keep her under control. This is that. I said, what are you talking about? She's part of the team. But anyways, we couldn't find her. 2 or 3 years later. And again, I'm graduated, and now just doing this podcast randomly.
I don't know if it was random though. Oh, I guess we're okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So we were doing a show. Our guest canceled, but we got a new guest, so it's a whole different type of dialogue going on.
Yeah. It was
than what was planned.
Josh from Deadline.
Which is symbolic because he's the man.
Josh is awesome.
He is awesome. But so it's usually like a 2-hour show, and about an hour and 10 minutes into it, they ask, "What's your most haunted objects?" I start talking about Barb, and literally 50 seconds before I mentioned Barb, there's Joe from Para Oddities working on his, spirit box, and the music goes down in his haunted museum, which apparently is where Barb's, staying. And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to go put the music back on. I'll just throw whatever's on, my phone or on Facebook." Opens up Facebook with the first things, just whips it open an hour and 10 minutes into it. 50 seconds later, I start talking about Barb. He's like, "What are the odds of this kid is talking about Barb? this doll that I have, like this crazy, crazy haunted doll that I have here in this cabinet." And sure enough, it is Barb. He slides into the comments.
He's like, "Hey, I have Barb.
I have Barb." Like,
I have Barb. That's all he said.
We need to go visit Barb.
Right? He's just like, "I have Barb." That's all he said. I was like, "No." I kind of scrolled past it. I was like, "No." And then.
So then we end up, he shows us Barb. We have him on the show. He sends her to us. So we've been investigating, like, free of charge. I mean, this man, deserves everything. But we've been blessed. So I have a.
Also, you have Barb now.
Correct. So
cool.
Barb
Heck
now,
yeah.
dude. So like when you got to tell him, like when he was trying to send Barb, like first, like he kept on having just strings of bad luck. When
car broke down, flat tire. Yep. He got kidney stones.
Yeah, and then as he's walking up to the post office, he trips and drops her into some sort of crevice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane. It's just the whole serendipity of it. Of clearly she wants to go home.
Yeah,
but
at the same
all
time,
this weird stuff. Yeah, it's very.
But at the same time, she doesn't. It's like, maybe that's her way of saying goodbye.
Total chaos.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a personal group, Your Paranormal, and now she comes on all the investigations, and when we do investigations for the podcast, she comes along as well. It's a real treat. So
she's like his safety blanket. Like he's like, "I'm not alone. I'm with Barb." That's his. He's like a solo run. But in his mind, it's like I'm not really alone to have Barb with me.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that at all. I mean,
she's back where she wants to be.
Exactly, and that's why she gets to go on these adventures, and that might be what she liked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, the adventures are why she is what she is today.
Yeah, that's something I've always thought of too, because you think all the equipment people use while investigating.
Mm-hmm.
How much and people are getting these weird responses that don't pertain to where they're at, but maybe it's from a previous location.
Yeah. Definitely. I'll tell you what, my parapooch that's over. Oh, if I turn enough, he'll show up. But he's behind me. There he is.
There's something.
I don't know. Yeah. My camera's in the wrong angle. So my parapooch, he's got a weird energy to him now. Since he's a little bit on a hiatus right now because. His voice box is broken. I need to get that fixed. But he has been on investigation in a year or two. But he still has energy. My dog, I don't know if it's normal for dogs to be nervous about other stuffed dogs, but my dog is terrified of him.
See, my Jack Russell that passed away about a year ago would completely annihilate it. We had to get rid of my grandmother's ceramic cat that was on the floor. Because there was chew marks all over it. It did not care at all. So you never know.
Yeah.
Dog might be sensitive to the energy or just not liking the dog in the house.
I think that my dog is sensitive to the energy. He's noticed things when I've noticed them, like when we've gone for walks. There was this one time that really resonated where I just like I felt this energy, and I stopped and I looked down at my dog, and he's looking at the same thing I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, and then I was thinking, well, maybe I should take out an investigation. But I was like, you know what, though? I don't know if that's right to do, because like I'm choosing to go to these places. He may not like it. So maybe one night I'll just go for like a night walk in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park with some haunted locations that I know throughout there, and see how he reacts there, and see if he does well with that. Because I do know some places that'll let me bring him if I'm able to show that he is sensitive. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned, dude, we need to get Brian in there, because Brian, I mean, he's got his doll. He's got other items that he's collected through the past. I know he would love it.
And
so how can we or anyone else schedule an investigation there?
Just through Facebook. That's the way people have been getting a hold of me, either through my personal Facebook, Steve Hummel, or just looking up Archive of the Afterlife, the National Museum of the Paranormal on Facebook. Just through Messenger, through one of those two sources.
well, okay, so like we've got how much is it, and what's like the hours, and is it just a museum? It's do you get to yourself? What's the lowdown of it?
Okay, well, we haven't done any yet. We do public nights, which is whoever shows up gets it for X amount. But we also do the private approach with it, so it's only your group, flat rate. And right now, I'm just doing them at $250 for a flat rate from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m.
And it's the entire museum. You can go investigate there. This is that.
Correct.
All right. Well, okay. Gosh, how far away is it from Ohio? Like,
I'm literally right across the Ohio River from
all right. We're gonna.
Ohio.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
So-
it.
Have you been to Moundsville?
So
Brian?
where Moundsville
I
is,
have.
So
if you
about
go to
20
Moundsville, you'll follow Route 250 from Moundsville out of town, and 250 takes you directly into Cameron. It's 18 miles east of Moundsville, so it's pretty much in the same vicinity as Moundsville. So just consider Moundsville your.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's not that far away.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not.
Okay.
When we went, we just drove out and then we drove home. So
I will say this: the roads are very windy.
they are.
So I want to, because Shawn and I do for the podcast, we do the solo run challenges.
Okay.
So
Dude, solos in the dark room.
yeah. So we go do duo runs, and we bring you saw Becca. We wave hi to her. She's like our camera person, just to help us do the duos.
And Becca, we're not bringing the Tesla, and my car is clean.
hey, we might. so she's gonna do it.
No, I'm just joking. Her thing is Brian likes to make Becca go, and like when we're doing our duos, we'll be walking through, and then he'll be like, Becca, go get some B-roll over there by yourself.
Oh yeah,
and he'll send her by herself, and she's like, no, I don't want to. And then,
we're gonna go back to
and then
home
she's like,
base.
I'll clean the car, or clean the Tesla, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, I'm like, don't worry.
The car, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, nope, the cars are clean.
So I because such a place with such history and crazy energy, I want to book it for my personal group. I mean, our personal group, it doesn't matter. But also the show. So I will be reaching out afterwards.
We'll cut you a deal.
Yeah.
Okay, and whatever we could do to flow energy there, I'm super excited.
We can do my thing with the
Oh yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Alone
it's just,
I'll just gonna tell you some of the rooms we have to paint you guys a picture. So you want to come in the front door.
Yes.
And I kind of have it set up like it's like more like a comfortable living room. I want people feeling comfortable when they come in. So in the front room, we have a little bit of a library started. We have a curiosity cabinet, which has some items that I found at different places throughout. including our first human skull. So it's really interesting. And then you're going to go farther back into the house, which used to be the kitchen area, it's all open now. We'll have eventually we'll put like a coffee pot in there and stuff like that for folks. But that's where I have my 2 embalming tables, embalming pump, post-mortem photography. Now, at that point, if you turn left, you'll come into a doorway straight ahead and one to your right, and a little mini hallway to your right. And back in there takes you into the room that I keep my collections from the former West Virginia State Penitentiary and my military items. I have German helmets from the battlefields in Europe with bullet holes through them. One of the last investigations we did as PQ was on the USS Salem, which I highly recommend in Quincy, Massachusetts. Don there, our tour guide, donated an actual medic World War II helmet from the USS Salem. So we have that in there, and that's also where I have my cap to Old Sparky from the West Virginia State Penitentiary. Now, the other way, if you go straight ahead to that one door, the opposite door of the military stuff, takes you into our funeral parlor. We have a child's viewing casket, a adult-sized casket. I also have a wicker cooling casket from the 1860s era that was from the Gettysburg area. Now, there's the doorway on the other side of the room. You'll go to it, and that takes you directly upstairs. The first room that you'll look into is our haunted doll room. And then there's a back room to that my friend Gina is going to be setting up to do complimentary readings whenever she can get out there during our normal daytime hours. And then down the hall with this some random stuff to read on the walls and random haunted items. First door to your right is our charged relics room. And those are items that are charged / haunted, but they're not negative. So there's a general room. And then the next room to your right, this room kind of started off by accident because it's a rabbit hole I've kind of gone down. And any item that I have that's from a hospital, sanitarium, or asylum is in that room. So in that room we have trying to think. We have a bed frame from LOE Psychiatric Hospital. We have a wool patient's blanket and a wooden stool from Battle Creek Sanitarium. I have metal cutlery from Schuylkill Insane Asylum, different places like that. And the last door beyond that room to your right is the dark room, where we have the malevolent items.
Let's go, Steve. This is awesome. You know, it's because I plan too much. I'm always looking for like the best places just to, you know, when we get our annual like collection together, saying, you know, let's try and do 12 investigations each year, you know, at least which ones are we going to try and hit. I love staples in our annual plans. And I mean, clearly once we go here, we're going to be like, we got to go back at least once a year. I'm pumped.
And that would work out that way because we're always adding items. There's always something new coming. We just recently, they're going to do 2 trial visits, and I'm really psyched about it. Hopefully it goes well for them. We just got 2 dates set up with Ghost Hunts USA.
Oh,
so we're hoping that helps. We're hoping people have a good time. You know, of course, I'm going to be a nervous wreck before, during, and after, because I always am. But,
yeah.
So yeah,
well, that's crazy. So I mean, we're just gonna go in there expecting the unexpected. You know, walking in, what's gonna happen? You know, something unexpected is just gonna come out of nowhere. This is crazy.
It says in my new book,
the doors kept opening.
You should trust your instincts.
Go for it.
This is crazy, isn't it?
Yes, Steve, you heard it right. It is the time of the podcast where we do the Into the Abyss section, where we're gonna ask you 13 fast fire questions. Answer them
Lucky
as
13,
quickly.
right?
Lucky 13. Hey, every number is for a reason. So of course that's why we picked it. All right. Do you have any questions? I'm gonna give you number 1 and number 13 as a reference point, but we'll just jump right into it unless you have any questions.
Let's do it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do it.
All right.
All eyes on you, brother.
Oh wow, that's scary.
Thank you, Shawn, brother. All right, let's do it. Number 1, Steve. You've celebrated a few Halloweens in your time now. Which was your favorite Halloween that you can remember?
Wow. It's been a long time since I've actually got to enjoy one because of work and everything.
Yeah.
I will say there's one that I spent with Dave, Ryan, Jason, myself, our friends, Andrew, his wife, Vicky, and there was someone else. And it was all up at Ryan and Dave's old apartment in Wheeling. And I would just say it's a shocker that the cops didn't get called for it. Very loud. But honestly, there's a few other ones that I really, really thoroughly enjoyed, and that was just spending some just quiet time alone or maybe with a friend or two at one of our local cemeteries, just kind of resetting, and enjoying the energy, taking the energy in, and just kind of letting the world disappear for a little while.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Now, you alluded to earlier, which caught everyone's attention, about your childhood. What was at least one of those wild childhood paranormal experiences you've had?
One that comes to mind is I had to have been maybe 5 ballpark.
Yeah.
And my grandfather, where actually I'm back there living now, so I can help my grandparents out. He was the type. He was always the last one upstairs because he would want to lock all the doors, check the doors, turn the lights out, and then come upstairs to go to bed. And he would always poke his head in my brother and I's bedroom to make sure we were actually asleep, not pretending to be asleep, so we can get back to listening to music on our headphones.
Yeah.
So he always peek in to make sure we're doing good, and he would always say goodnight. Well, this one particular time, I'm laying in bed and I feel like I'm being watched, and I looked up and I was. And the way my bed was, I'm looking at the inside of the door, and I could see a silhouette of a man peeking around the corner, looking at me. I can even see like fingers wrapped around the side of the door, like he's peering around the side. And I said, "Good night, Pat." And there was no answer, and I thought that was really, really odd. Like, I didn't get afraid. I just like, well, that's weird. I don't know. I don't remember him being in a bad mood, which happens sometimes. And he's a good man, though, a good Christian man. But so I crept out of bed and I went to the door and peeked around to look down the hallway, which would look directly in my grandparents' room. He was already in bed, and now this is a matter of about 10 to 20 seconds after I'd seen the image, and I went to look down the hallway, and he was already in bed snoring. Like, he was already asleep. So there was no one else in the house that could have created that. And I'm looking in a manner where the light was behind the image, so I could see the silhouette. So I knew something was there.
Yeah.
So I would say that was probably one of the more prominent memories that really got me interested into the, well, at that time, weird things, but as we call now the paranormal, the supernatural.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, where would people get an amazing set of headphones like the ones that you're wearing? I mean,
I'll have to ask my friends Justin or Vicky.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
They're really nice. I don't know what they are here. So there's a G430s or whatever. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, it matches your shirt and everything. That's pretty sick.
I know, it worked out.
Yeah.
No, I planned it the whole time.
Hey, so you probably do a lot of speaking. So let's just say hypothetically you're speaking to a group of new paranormal teams. Man, what is the one tip that you would give all these paranormal teams that are just starting out? What's that one tip?
I would tell them what I told people when they were signing up for the first time at my gym.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have fun.
Yeah.
If it gets too serious, it gets to be a business, then, my opinion, you need to lighten up a little bit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting serious about what you're doing, but don't be a jerk about it. There's enough drama in the world and a lot of people like that. That's the type of people that turns people away from the paranormal field. The people who act like I know everything and therefore I'm God and you're not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's just I tell people people like that, just tell them have fun.
Yep.
If you don't feel that you're fitting into the regime of whatever group, there's countless other groups out there that you'll probably make a better fit in, and you'll probably have a lot more fun.
Amen, brother.
Ain't that the truth? So we're busting out. Oh, get excited, Steve. We're busting out the Gilmore wallet here. He wants to buy you one piece of paranormal equipment. What are you going to let him buy you?
I'm a little bit behind on a lot of the newer stuff out. You never have enough good digital recorders.
Oh,
that's a shame. I mean, he was looking to spend,
$1,800
on that stick figure camera or a nice thermal bad boy. But
I tell you what, I would tell him, surprise me.
Ooh.
As long as it's not, I hate to see this, and I might ruffle some feathers, just as long as it's not a DR60.
Is that your... Okay, Boo Buddy it is. Got it. All right, so...
Just a personal thing. Nothing, against it. Just not my thing.
No, he was referencing Boo Buddy is Brian's.
A Boo Buddy?
Yeah, he's not a fan of the Boo Buddies.
Oh. I've seen those. I've not seen them used, though.
Our college team got one. It was. I don't even know where the thing is. Oh my gosh! All right. Speaking of things that are so satisfying, look, Steve. What would be more satisfying to you? Let me see. A beautiful, maybe like Class A EVP, or like a beautiful piece of paranormal evidence. Or a beautifully finished painting the way that you would totally want it and envision it.
Ooh,
that's tough. That's funny because there's a piece of artwork that I missed out on a few years back. Well, being that I have a lot of friends and myself that are artists, I'm going to go with the EVP.
I love it.
I have a lot of faith in my fellow friends that are artists.
Yeah. All right. If you could own one haunted location, the Gilmore wallet's coming back out. He's buying you.
Why is it my wallet?
He's going to pay for it now.
We need to get to the Mersal estate.
Nah. All right. So, one haunted location that you want to own, you got to manage it. You could put your face all over it.
I'll put my museum in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. What are we getting for you, my friend?
What location?
Can it be one that I've not been to yet?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can't buy the whole Alcatraz Island, though. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, I definitely want to see that, like a bucket list thing, but I'm not entirely infatuated with it. I think it's because I started investigating in a prison.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got I don't want to say I'm burned out of prisons, but I've been in Moundsville's 1,100,000 times.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's tough. There's a few in Europe. And this will probably answer maybe another question, and I hope it doesn't. If it does, then I'll just get my second place one for that. I honestly, and I think more for personal experience, not so much. Well, no, I'm not going to say. I think it'll come across as disrespectful. So I'll save it for a different question, maybe. Let's say this is tough. I would. Crap. You know what? I'll go cliche. I'm going to go Dracula's Castle.
Dracula's Castle. All right. Now, what is the favorite game behind you?
Which one? There's a lot of them back there. Oh, Talisman's fun. Gosh dang it. Yeah, Talisman's back there. It's like a quest game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like D&D mixed with Magic the Gathering.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting. Actually, my friend Vicky, who obviously lives here at this place, she got it for her husband Justin, and so I played it for the first time, and I'm like, this game is actually pretty fun.
Oh, very cool. So we're all going to Moundsville Penitentiary. We're trying to assemble a team. What's the sweet spot number of investigators that you would recommend to go to Moundsville?
So you're doing a group thing.
Like like a private.
I'd do 8 to 10.
You do 8 to 10?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm going to say because my friends and I we've investigated there for our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been times when we were the only 4 in the entire building.
Oh,
and
wow.
we also do what we call we also do what we solo missions. We've been doing those since we pretty much started.
Yeah.
So there's been times where 3 of us will sit in the lobby, and one of us will go out for an hour by ourselves, and that's a pretty screwed up place.
Yeah.
One of the solos I did was through an area that you don't normally get access to when the general public's there, and that is the South Side's basement. The South Side's basement is probably one of the, in my opinion, the most intense places that you'll ever run into inside that facility. There's been sightings of a little girl, which is not a little girl. I don't care what anyone says. She's not a little girl. A friend of mine, she goes by the name Molly, when she does her psychic readings, because she goes to church and doesn't want people giving her a hard time about her abilities. She's seen in the basement on that side and up in the contact visitation room in the north side, a 7-foot entity that she says when she can see other inmate spirits, that whenever it happens to come through that area, they literally just separate and try to get away from that 7-foot entity that comes through whatever area that might be in.
Oh, yeah.
I will say this, in that facility, we've had situations happen where sulfur smelled. I've been scratched in the facility, and through Class A EVP, I've even been threatened with possession in that facility.
Wow.
So it is a very intense place to investigate. Yeah, sometimes you'll go there and something may not happen, but that's one day out of an entire year. And you're not guaranteed, even if you go to the most intensely haunted place in the country or world, you're still going to have down days, you know. But yeah, I've seen what seems like people's faces change, but it's more so like a face that's in front of their face, like you're looking through like a filter that's clear, but it distorts the face.
So, okay, so what's the craziest thing that's happened on an investigation? I mean, you've been doing this for years now. It doesn't have to be at Moundsville, but just in general.
Okay. I will say one thing that comes to mind is something that happened to one of my best friends, Dave, Dave Gear. And that was down when we were in Savannah, Georgia, and we were very fortunate to, and unfortunate in some ways, to get to investigate the Moon River Brewery.
Okay.
And Dave, I feel, was partially taken over by a certain negative entity that was there, that we've also confirmed followed us via a brick that, with permission, that I removed from a summoning circle in the attic of the Moon River Brewery to the museum location that I used to be in the old community center. But I still have the brick.
That is...
And like, he would walk through the entire freaking building. No flashlight, no camera, no IR. Walk down steps, pitch black, not walk into a wall or anything. He said there's about a half an hour's worth of time he does not recall where he went, what he said, what he's seen, what he did at all. And if you want to get a chance to check that out, go to Paranormal Quest on YouTube. And the episode's called The Most Haunted City in America. There's a part 1, and the part 2 is when we actually crack open the shipping box that I shipped the brick home into, give it provenance of where it came from. And we'll put it this way, little spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
While I was doing a prayer for protection at Moon River, all but one of us, Ryan didn't, heard a hissing sound, disembodied hissing sound, go through the entire area. Now, let's fast forward to where we're revealing the brick at the former museum location. We had 3 cameras set up, 3 voice recorders set up. We had a periscope set up, which we don't have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The REM pod set up, and a K2, I believe, set up. All on a table with the box covered at first, and then the box cutters laying on top of it. And as Ryan's looking at the camera, explaining to what would be eventually our viewers of what is going on, we heard, and this time Ryan heard, the same disembodied hissing sound, except louder, go through the entire freaking room. It was instant chill factor, and all of us, and you'll see in the video, were completely like, what the heck is going on here?
Oh, yeah.
And what's even creepier is as I'm getting ready to take the box cutter to initially start cutting through the label from UPS over the pedal box via the PSB7 Spirit box, crystal clear, you hear, Steve. Something says my freaking name.
Mm-mm.
And as I'm getting ready to start cutting, it goes, Dave. It just said Dave's name. It was crazy.
Wow. Speaking of Class A EVPs, would you rather build a hotel on Boardwalk or capture a solid Class A EVP?
Oh, well, I've already built a hotel on Boardwalk. So a Class A EVP, of course.
Sounds good
Unless
to me.
it's a haunted hotel on Boardwalk.
Hey, we can make that happen. What's the most haunted object you've come across in the paranormal field?
Can I give you a top 10 or top 5?
No. You got to pick one.
Oh my gosh! We start seeing smoke come out my ears here in a minute. Oh man! Up until this point, I'm going to say my Annie portrait. Now, there's a lot of other ones that are very malevolent, and the energy is very, very heavy. But Annie is normally more intelligent whenever she chooses to communicate.
Yeah.
And she's in the main room as soon as you walk in.
I'm excited to meet her.
We had one lady come in a few weeks ago, and her husband was paying for the admission. And this is the first time that I've seen this happen with Annie. And his wife walks over to Annie, and she literally just starts bawling, crying. I mean, like big crocodile tears. Like I had grabbed a box of Kleenex and everything. And I'm like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And she said, it's just, I can't help it. I was so overwhelmed with emotion from her picture. And she did say something that someone betrayed her who was very close to her. Now, I don't know if this would be it or not, but I do know she went through a divorce. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. And number 13, what's one thing you want to tell your paranormal community?
Keep doing what you're doing as long as it's for the right reason. And remember, for the short time I was in the Air Force, whatever you do, make sure you're representing what you're doing correctly. So I'd say we can apply that to the paranormal field.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Steve Hummel.
Wow, that's weird. There we go.
There we go.
There's been some IT issues here since while you guys were doing your thing. I had some issues at my end, but I was able to semi fix it. That's why I was so quiet towards this for the second half was because I wasn't actually technically connected.
Listen, no, we saw it. I mean, just look to the left, which Shawn, it's your right. That long gone ball is just causing all that IT work. Wow. Hey, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What type of incense are you burning?
Right now, what is it? It's the black box.
Oh, neat.
It's just it's a super hit.
Oh, okay. I have a friend of mine sells that brand.
I got it from Amazon, and I got like got a plethora. Got a plethora of all different.
Oh yeah, is that I like the opium of that brand. It's really good.
I like Nag Champa.
Oh yeah,
always a favorite. But yeah, I don't know. So far, I don't know. I like
100%.
sandalwood. I like the more natural type smells.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah.
Yes, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I only got to be in for a couple months. I got medical leave and boot camp, so but I do appreciate 100% support our troops.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe I'd actually almost have 20 years in if I hadn't got medical leave and boot camp.
Wow.
My first day in boot camp, believe it or not, was September 11th, 2002.
Oh wow!
It was 1 year after 9/11.
Wow. That is incredible. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Bill. Appreciate your service, and we always bleed blue, buddy.
Well, you might be bleeding because he wants to go to drag.
Hey,
his castle
I didn't bleed
too.
anything. We'll just road trip together, man. We'll backpack it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's a long swim.
Well, I don't mind.
So, Steve, what do you got on your agenda? I mean, obviously, people are going to be wanting to, see what's new from you. How can we flow some energy to you? What's your current projects you're working on?
Well, the one big thing we got coming up, PQ, and I wrote it down so I didn't forget it.
There you go.
Okay. I'm horrible. 9/11, September 11th this year, West Virginia Penitentiary Paracon. We're hosting our annual Paracon from 11:30 a.m. till 7 p.m. And there's a VIP package, which I'm not quite sure what all that entails just yet. But for any and all information on it, go to www.wvpentours.com. And so far, our main guests that will be doing Q&A and hopefully investigating together with us will be Shane Pittman from the Holzer Files. Nice. And we'll have Heather Taddy from Paranormal State and Alien Highway. We'll have the Foreman brothers, a.k.a. Paranormal Nightmare. Good friends of ours, amazing guys. And we'll have one of my old-time best friends, Kristen Lee from the Belair House. And our good friend, Rick Hayes. He'll be there as well.
Now, the Foreman brothers, they don't do a whole lot of the public stuff. Honestly, I messaged them to come on the show. Of course, no response. They just really keep to themselves a whole lot. They don't do. It's really neat that you guys are able to get them to do an event because you don't see them do a lot of.
They're very busy. I do know that. It took us a while because we did a collab with them when we did Blackford County Jail. I hope I remember that correctly. So we actually got some really cool evidence there. We actually caught about a 3 to 4 foot shadow figure actually dart out of a room. Yeah, it was just a very lucky shot, and we caught it.
What camera were you using?
I don't know if it was one of our 53s or 33s. It was Sony.
What kind of light were you using?
Dead light, of course. Always dead light. We always
Yes. Light up the night. Let's go.
You should see the freaking the necro I got off him.
Yeah.
Because the camera I used to use was a 1080. We quit using 1080. We always use 4K now. And my full spectrum actually has 3 full spectrum lights in the middle, and he actually stacked 4 on top, 4 on the bottom, 8 total IRs.
Oh yes.
It's bright.
I bet. I bet, man. Tell you what, Josh Bender, he knew what he was doing when he was creating.
Dude, I pardon my French, I bitched at him for weeks. I said, you need to get out there. You need to, first of all, trademark and copyright what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there that doesn't like doing the work for themselves trying to steal off of you.
Yeah.
And finally he did it. Because I do a lot of artwork. I do a lot of artwork for him. Do a lot of, in the past.
Yeah.
So he and I got to be pretty good friends. I think. And
he's a good
guy. I told him. I said, you got to take care of your what do you call it? Your I just lost the word.
Your
I told
brand,
you,
right?
Brand. That's a good one.
Capital, or
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they dude, he knew what he was doing. I investigated with him when he was first testing it out, and
he had one thing he built, and I don't know where it is or anything. As soon as he brings it out, I'm going to buy it. You hold it like looks like a radar gun, and it had at least 10 or 12 IRs on it. And
that's
we were
the big one he showed us on our show, I think, Brian. Mm-hmm. That was
we had it in the gymnasium at the Sanford Center, and it half usage or whatever, like completely bleached out the back wall. Wow. So I'm like, I want to take that to Gettysburg and just cover like an entire freaking battlefield with it.
Yeah, that's a damn good idea. Because
if you think of it, if you put like 2 or 3, like say one here and then like 20 yards here, 20 yards beyond that one, you're going to cover that much more area with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the guy's an absolute legend. He knew that I was, we had him on the show. He sent me a deadlight to just rent and use. It's just, I still have it. Of course, I put my orders in, and, he's like, here's the different options of the deadlight. I said, my man, which is the biggest one? Which is the best one we can use? Yeah. I said, listen, I love every model of the deadlight, but I need 2 orders of the best and biggest one you got. Even if, I don't turn it on full power if we're like in the location. If I'm trying to be outside of the Hinsdale house and I'm cruising through the forest with those whatever nature spirits, I'm trying to look full blast on that 4K camera.
Yeah. I told him, I said, this is how big I need it, and I want it to be like the second coming of Christ. That's all I want it.
That's so awesome.
Can do.
The bearded legend.
That's his new nickname. Unless it's been taken.
I don't know.
Bill.
He won a contest. So
did he?
He won a contest, a beard contest. Yeah, he did. He won a contest. So I don't know exactly. I don't remember what exactly it was for, but he did. He won the contest. I voted for him. Because that's a badass.
I did too. I remember that.
Yeah, he ended up winning that.
Did he? Oh, good.
Yeah. I think that's so. Awesome. I'm trying to remember which necro I ordered because I'm like on the list. So I'm on a waiting list. I think I got
I'm also on the waiting
list. Where are you, Josh? Josh Bender, we need you. I think I got the 40-watt necro. I don't remember though.
Yes, Bill's like my 6th deadlight is coming.
I don't remember.
I got the biggest one that he's like, look, you might not need this. I said, listen here.
You got did you get the 60-watt necro?
Either it was the 60 or the 120. I know there was like an experimental one. If the 120 is the experimental one, I didn't get the experimental one. I just got the one that he was offering. I got the highest one, and I got 2 of them. So
nice.
He doesn't have.
It's because traditionally you run to Mountsville was a beautiful place that when you like rented it out, they allowed you to have up to 20 people. Yeah. So we had all 20 people, of course, because it was such a legendary event. You were able to comfortably run 3 teams there, and
I guess I'm just used to like smaller.
Oh,
whenever we do it, I guess
I love small.
Kind of spoils you.
That is the truth. It's just that place was so great. But typically your paranormal runs like 2 teams of 5 in a perfect world if the location's big enough. And that's why you got to have 2 deadlights.
That's my type of Christmas tree. That's the
yes.
That is awesome.
The one in the middle.
Yeah.
That is the only picture I could find of the big one that you're talking about.
Yeah, that one makes me happy in many different areas.
Yes. So the one in the middle there, it's holding up all the little ones.
Yeah,
People don't get it. It's
Yeah.
so nice. It's so
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to.
No,
I didn't mean to interrupt the.
I have a beautiful experience with that light. I mean, I know everyone talked it up. So I kind of flew under the radar for like the first 4 or 5-ish years.
Bill Davis says that his girlfriend just puts a love spell on the lights.
well, it hasn't worked. Oh yeah, I guess with the light, you get a love spell with the lights. Yeah.
Yeah, because you get like once you go dead light, you don't go back. They say that about other things, but we're talking about dead lights here.
Yes.
So once you go dead
It's
light,
a family-friendly show.
Yeah, I mean, you can look on. You used to have those little squares that are IR lights.
Yeah.
But those don't last. And then you get the IR
Polaroid ones?
flashlights that you can at least change out the batteries.
We had this one guy back when we first started. He went by Mystic Mike. And he would get those Radio Shack boxes. And he made the JVC I started with, which is now full spectrum because I had a friend convert it to full spectrum. He made one of those box lights with green LEDs in it. We called it the Green Lantern.
Oh,
And that sucker still works.
This thing.
I use it for a flashlight now.
Oh, nice. This is what we used on Ectovision with our static cameras. It's just a spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
These things work real well. They're durable,
yeah, they do.
And they're cheap.
We have a couple of those we use for PQ.
Yeah.
For like when we do our abandonment. We do an abandonment technique we've been doing for years now. And we just set up all our cameras, all of our gadgets, let everything run, and we lock up and leave for about an hour. So no one gets in, no one gets out of the house or wherever we're at. And we actually had to do that. This was back, we had just started doing our videos back in like 212 or 211 or something like that. And we were at this one location. A friend of mine, Chris Dedman, he used to do a lot of guest appearances on different shows. If anything was involving demons or something like that, he was the go-to guy. And he contacted me and asked if we could do a preliminary investigation in Moundsville because a lady contacted him because he would have to take off work and travel up from around Lexington to investigate. So, yeah, we'll do a preliminary investigation and we'll let you know what we think about it. So long story short, we got there, we're setting up, and next thing we know, it's supposed to be Dave, Ryan, and I. Jason wasn't with the group yet. And the house owner and her granddaughter. And next thing we know, 10 other ladies show up that are going to be investigating, pulling out potato chip bags, pop. I'm like, me having a very short fuse on certain things, I said, everyone needs to shut the hell up. I said, you guys called us in here to investigate. We're trying to help you. I said, you guys got to go. You got to go. So because of the situation, we started doing the abandonment, which a few groups now are actually giving a shot, and we encourage that. It's a great thing to do. You're giving the spirits their own space to communicate or not communicate if they wish to. So it's up to them. And we set everything up, recorders running. All 3 recorders picked up the same audio EVP Class A. You hear Ryan leave through the back door. No one could get through the front door because we had a tripod set up in front of there with a DVR camera. Mm-hmm. So we would have known if someone would have came in that way and was trying to mess with us. And as soon as he closes the door, about a minute and a half later, you hear a small little girl's voice go, "Tell them what?" Behind her, farther in the distance, an adult female voice goes, "We don't do that." Ooh. So we captured 2 spirits talking to themselves in response to something that Ryan said. And because of that one point in time, that experience or situation, that's when we started doing our abandonments. And we've gotten some crazy evidence just from abandonment.
You know what? We on going back to my Ectovision days, when we would set up our static cameras, we would do that, but we would letting the location rest.
Okay.
So we would go and just like we'd set everything up, and then we would leave, usually go get dinner or something.
Right.
And then we would come back and after we kind of let the place rest.
Yeah.
And you are 100% right. Some of the best evidence that we captured was during those times. So
Absolutely.
definitely. And so that's why I like to set up static and I'll leave it and then I'll come back to it later. Brian's seen me kind of do that investigations where I'll set up static, and I'm okay with it just being sitting there because it's some of the best stuff, man.
We've had stuff, move. We've had good EVPs, and sometimes just letting them have their space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's we used to do that when we had like a lot more equipment in my college group. Like we would always be setting up static audio, static cameras. We had a whole role dedicated to it just to make sure that that was being caught.
Right.
Now that we have our own team and we have like less equipment, we don't do as much static. Like I'd much rather run like a second or third camera operator. But my adaptation. Who do we got?
My friend's cat, he keeps going past my leg, scaring the crap out of me. I don't care if you are mad.
I like to do that abandoning, with Becca. When we do our paranormal sessions, that's kind of like me and Shawn. Like we're done with the rotation. We're gonna go head back to home base, but let's just abandon the static equipment and Becca there. What I mean?
Becca, leave Becca there.
Yeah, just like anchor her for 5 minutes. Come on, girl, get some B-roll or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's safe, it's fine.
Yes.
And
something like that happened to me one time, and it was by accident, and it ended up being a really cool experience. Nothing really much was documented paranormal wise, but just the rush, the feeling of it was a memorable moment for me. So we're setting up DVR cams. So this will be earlier in our PQ days, at the penitentiary in Moundsville, and we were given permission to run a static cam up in the admin building, which no one is allowed up there now at all. Up at the warden's residence, 3rd and 4th floor.
Why is that?
It's just not structurally sound.
Oh, okay.
But we got permission to say we're going to run a static cam, even though I might or may not have did a solo up there. And so we're up there running extension cords so we can have power up there because there's no power.
Right.
And Dave goes, I have to go down to the lobby, which literally is clear on the other side of the penitentiary, to go get something. And turns out I figured out that he and Ryan decided to go to Walmart to get some more stuff.
Oh.
In which they had to walk so.
Wow.
And I started after about 20 minutes, half an hour. I'm thinking, what? Where's Dave? Dave hasn't come back yet. So I go to the front of the 4th floor, which is right by you've heard of the inverted pentagram room, right? By now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm on that floor. I'm all the way on the tip top of that 4-story part of the admin building. And I go to the far window to look down at the parking lot, and there's no freaking cars in the parking lot. And then it sets in, like, oh, shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we were the only 3 in the whole building, now it's -2, which leaves 1 being me. And I'm like, oh. And then that's when just like it seemed like every bit of energy in that place just kind of went.
Ooh.
But it was awesome though. It was an amazing like adrenaline rush at the same time.
Yeah, it's when we do solo runs, like even in private residences or like people that we know, it's nice because you're out there. But like we have access to like a school grounds and a nunnery. It's all in one.
Ooh, nice.
It's like the beautiful combo. And when you do solo runs, it's like you're the only one in the building. We're like 100, 200 feet away in a different building, and even just like what you're saying with like the abandoning thing, because if you run 2 teams, like if you got 10 and there's 3 separate buildings, a smaller school, large school, and a nunnery, one building is always like abandoned or whatever, just like resting. And it's, oh, well, that's not used. I said, homies, that's not unused. We got at least 1 static audio there. I don't know. The paranormal field is such a beautiful place, logistically, and just every location's so great.
It
I don't know.
is.
Absolutely.
You know what I think is also like a good way to gain interaction, and Erin actually kind of touched on it a little bit here. She said she likes to let stuff from the corner when you're just talking amongst yourself. When you're just sitting there BSing, dude.
Absolutely.
Even play a game of cards. It doesn't matter what card game it is. Play some freaking Go Fish. Play some Gin Rummy real quick. It doesn't matter. Play some poker. Dude, spirits for some reason, man. People have been playing cards for freaking decades.
Yeah.
So the dude, I'm like, oh yeah, they're playing.
Well, that's like that EVP they got it. Of course, I think it was on a Ghost Adventures episode, but they were at the Birdcage Theater, and one of the recordings was like someone shuffling a deck of cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know what, like you said, they know what cards are.
Yeah.
Chess, checkers, older type of games like that.
See, that's why I love trigger objects, because like
Oh,
when
yeah.
you look at like a REM pod, their spirits aren't going to know what that gadget is. So it's
Exactly.
great to have that device to let you know if something is going to be, or something is around, right?
Yeah.
So a while ago, I ordered something, guys.
Uh-oh.
Let's see it, my man. Let's see it.
Oh. Coming from overseas, the gentleman that makes them, he custom builds them for you. So he makes them individually for the person as they're ordered. And man, dude, I just love trigger objects.
Yeah.
And it's just a music box, right? It's nothing like crazy cool. The music's a little bit creepy, but the thing is, when you think of a REM pod, right? What's going to be more attractive to a spirit? Is it going to be a REM pod, a circular all plastic tube, or a stuffed dog, or a music box? You know. Yeah. So I'm like super pumped to get this.
I'm anxious to see how that goes.
Oh man, I love it. I have another one that's a stuffed bear called the Scare Bear. It's just a REM pod again.
Well, next time, if and when you come out to the museum, make sure you bring like anything like toy wise. I'm interested to see, because one of our items, unfortunately, we strongly believe, is haunted, if you will, by a 2-year-old who was part of a quadruple homicide. And I would be, because I don't have anything personally that involves something that would be good and appropriate for a kid. So I would like to see if something like that would actually work. So try to remember that if and when you come out.
I'll definitely bring that. I'll bring the Scare Bear. But this is created by the Facebook page, Brett and Emma. Dude, I find some of the coolest stuff just on the Facebook Marketplace. And that's where I found there's a post somewhere he's selling these. I'm like, yes, I need this trigger object. And I'm actually in the works of the next time I have some extra money, I want to get a toy fire truck.
Okay.
And have the lights go off like the REM pod.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in the works of trying to talk and say, hey, can we make this happen? I mean, I'm sure to custom make something like that. The toy probably get for like $10, $15. But for this guy to figure out a way to get the lights to go off and everything.
You should get one of those weird baby toys from like The Conjuring or something. Yeah.
Oh, such a good movie.
The new one's coming out. Sean, do you have a timer on your phone?
Do I have what?
Do you have a timer on your phone?
I have a timer on my phone. What?
Can I borrow it real quick?
Here you go. Can you get it?
All right. Steve, right. Okay. Can you put 2 minutes on the timer?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me get the timer up.
Hey, Ray. Excuse me.
Goose is on.
What's up, ladies?
What's up, Goose?
What's up, Home Slice?
All right. You have the 2 minutes up there?
Why am I nervous?
You probably should be. 2 minutes.
All right, Steve, real quick. Okay, you got 2 minutes. Bam, bam, bam. Paranormal over under. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
Another ugly
Here we
picture.
go. Now listen. You got to tell us if it's overrated, underrated, properly rated, and one sentence response. Okay. This has got to be a quick segment. Okay.
Hold on.
You should restart it.
I restarted it.
10 questions. We need to know if it's overrated, underrated, properly rated.
Just one word answer.
Yeah, and then you could do a one sentence response saying why you think it's over, underrated, or properly rated. Okay.
All right.
10 quick questions. All right. 3, 2, 1. Number 1, trigger objects.
Underrated. I think any and all are useful.
Houses built in 1830.
Underrated. I think the more history, the better.
Goosebumps from middle school.
Absolutely. Actually, it's underrated now because I don't even know if they even sell Goosebumps anymore.
Steak fries.
Underrated. More the merrier.
Yeah.
Long Gone Dolls.
Completely underrated. Amazing artwork put into this.
D&D.
Underrated.
Yeah.
I feel that it's been forgotten about too much.
Yeah.
Private residences.
I want to say underrated. I think a lot of them get overlooked and a lot of them get bypassed because people think they're bogus when they don't give them a shot.
Magic of the Gathering.
Oh, completely underrated. Amazing game. There's always room for more play.
REM pods.
Underrated. I still think more people need to use them.
And number 10, paranormal documentaries.
I'm gonna say underrated. I still think the paranormal community is still an underdog. It needs to be taken more serious.
There you go.
Did it.
Okay.
All right.
23. So that is. We have to start timing these because you know what we say one sentence responses and it's just such good conversations.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No,
Steve,
I have to say my nephew plays. He goes and does Magic the Gathering. Like he goes to like
all big conventions. And
he
won
stuff. Like a big. I don't know what's the word, a tournament or whatever.
Yeah, I used to go to a lot, and then I had my own little shop for a while. Then I had a really bad water leak, so I lost a lot of cards that are worth like hundreds and thousands of dollars now, like traditional dual lands and different things like that. So I lost a lot of cool stuff.
I remember years back when he was first getting into it. I don't remember if it was his birthday or Christmas. It was definitely, I think it may have been before I had kids. But I went to a card shop and I didn't know what I was buying. And I was like, which one's the most rare? And I would get like the mid range because I wasn't that rich. So,
right.
And I'd be like, just give me that. Oh, dude. Like I remember when I was a kid collecting baseball cards. And I know kind of like the value of the way that they do value on things like this now is all based on like eBay. So like the Beckett doesn't even mean anything anymore. But
did they even print Beckett anymore?
Probably not. Did I just age myself by mentioning a Beckett? Brian,
well,
do you know what Beckett is?
They had Beckett and Tough Stuff. That was another one.
Yeah,
Beckett was more accurate.
If Brian doesn't know what a Beckett is, then that means it.
We're like completely.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh my
God. Back in my day, they used to have magazines and they would list every single baseball card that was manufactured and the value.
Yes.
Yeah.
So nowadays people just get online and get like an average.
They get an average of what it sells.
But it still comes down to if you have something rare and people want it, they'll pay a little bit more.
It's true. Very true. So, but yeah, I thought that was cool about Magic the Gathering. Those games of D&D, man, I used to play that when I was younger. I haven't played it in so long. I got to rebuild.
Yes.
I got to make a new character, man.
I honestly just started D&D because my friends Justin and Vicky and a couple of their friends actually played. So I started hanging out with them a few years back, and they got me into it. So we have a campaign that's regular, I think 5th edition D&D or whatever.
Nice.
I'm still learning about it, but we also are doing one that's Star Wars based.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty fun.
That's really cool. Like back in the day, like we used to play different board games. It would be like Axis and Allies, and we'd play like Monopoly and like whatever. Dude, we did Drinking Risk one night. That was fun.
Oh no,
yeah.
That's a lot of risk, mate. I'll tell you. I mean,
dude, that was a lot of liquor. I'll tell you what. But man, that was like our thing, you know. And then we got into D&D. But now we're like old and we like have like kids and stuff, so we don't like. I don't see those guys much anymore.
You need to pass the torch on to your kids, get them to play.
Yeah.
And then you cheat against them and just completely use them for. So that way, when they learn the tricks of the trade, they're going to pass it on, and they'll be all the more smarter for it.
Well, there you go.
Wise words.
So sorry, we went down a little bit of a rabbit hole there.
Hey, they're fun. So
they are.
Around.
That's for sure.
Megan called me out. I don't leave people anywhere. That's not how we investigate.
Oh.
And Aaron.
What's the story behind that getting left behind?
No. It's just, I mean,
hold on. Wait. Brian's whole thing. When you go on investigation with Brian, it doesn't matter if you're with his team or just with Brian. He wants you to have the time of your life. He wants you to have a crazy experience.
Nice.
He wants you to have a crazy experience. He's going to be like, "Hey, I want you to go over there and do this," and then you're going to say no. Because that's just your instinct, is just to say no. But then Brian is just like, yeah, but you're going to do it. And he somehow gets you to do it. And next thing you know, you're sitting somewhere. You're like, why the fuck am I doing this right now?
Yeah. Like,
that's right, because Brian got me to do it.
And you're
but it ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like anchoring you when we go, to like leave a rotation. We're all heading back to home base. Hey. So, how's the investigation so far? Anything crazy? Yeah. I saw some activity, but nothing like too crazy. I said, "Hey, I'm with you." So we're gonna go back to home base. Why don't where'd you get the most activity? Oh, definitely in the nunnery basement. I said, "Oh, I'm with you." So why don't you stay down there for 5 minutes while we go back to home base? And they're like, "Why would I do that?" I'm like, "Okay, is this your first time here?" Yeah. I said, "Dude, what if this is your last time here? And nothing crazy has happened, and we're here. And listen, what if there's a spirit that needs you and only wants to communicate one-on-one? I mean, we're here to make a positive impact, and we're here to have a legendary night. I think you owe it to yourself to at least go there and try. I'm not saying 5 hours. I'm saying 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. See, Megan's already.
Unless you did what I typically do is just fall asleep at a place.
Right. I mean,
we have a lot of that.
He creates that memorable moment. So it's
good.
It's really cool.
No, they do.
Right,
they
definitely.
do.
Definitely. It's really going on investigation with Brian's always a fun time. You know that something, and you know that Brian's going to push you to your limit, or he'll give you the option to. Sometimes he doesn't get that pushy. The last time we went to the nunnery, he's just like, "Who wants to do a solo?" And he didn't really push anyone.
Yeah,
He just like, who wants to? But his mom came. And he got her to do a solo, but
it was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
He's a lot nicer than we are. Well, we did one of the things we did to Ryan. We actually took him down to New Wall and locked him in a cell and left him there for like half hour to an hour.
The Aaron of the group?
No. I mean, not. He didn't know we were going to be locked in the cell.
And then somehow, because we started doing the podcast together as like me joining the co-host, and then we rebranded and everything to make it more centered around the community. We said, look, Shawn's been doing this for 10 years?
What, investigating?
Yeah.
I just say 10. I stopped counting. Yeah. 10-ish.
10 plus. I've been doing it for about 7. I said, look, we love this stuff, and we come here to share everyone's experiences. I think, we owe it to like our paranormal community to go investigate by ourselves, but like we got to do something different. So we go there, we interview maybe like a tour guide of the location, and then you know what? Let's just go blindfold ourselves and sit by ourselves in the creepiest parts of like Madison Seminary. It's not even normal.
Sarah's room of Madison Seminary, and blindfolded with the RT recorder on. So with the old RT EVP recorder. So what you're hearing is all amplified, but you can't see what's around you.
It's hilarious. It's
awful. I was cracking up, dude. No, dude, it was. I was sitting there in Sarah's room, and I'm like, there's somebody standing like across the room from me. I felt him standing across, and I'm like talking to him. I wasn't hearing anything though, but I felt him. So it's like that. That was the more trippy part for me. And then when Brian was doing his solo there, they saw lights moving on the other side of the building.
Wow,
where he wasn't at. So there was something up there with him, but we unfortunately didn't capture anything. But who was it that was our host? Was it it was Denise? And I can't remember. I'm so sorry, but it was Denise came out, and they're like, "Were you guys both still up there?" Because I was like down. I don't remember exactly how it went, but Brian was there, and there is no way because they're like we both would have had to been on each wing of the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's how short the movements were between each other. Unless Brian's like Superman and can run super fast.
No, and that's kind of the magic that we want to help create at your museum. You know, going in, kind of, you know, looking around, sharing the story, which is so important to us, and then doing these crazy solo run challenges because, hey, Aaron, Aaron's
first investigation, and you left her in the bathroom.
Man.
Dude, there's a giant wolf spider right outside the door of those bathrooms.
I remember her saying that
had the babies on the back. You know, the wolf spiders had to carry the babies on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
a pregnant wolf spider.
You know, we want to
pregnant, but yeah,
we want to do this kind of event at your your museum, but
because I am adding a psychomantium.
Ooh,
to the
let's go.
Tell me more.
Basically, I'm going over the checklist for it. I don't have it memorized just yet, but you need like a small area, comfortable chair, dim lighting, and like a mirror angled at a certain angle where you can't see your reflection. You just see like it's just black on the reflection, and it's supposed to somehow open up more like your realm with the spirit realm, basically.
Mm-hmm.
To that extent, I guess I'm still doing my homework on that. But I have the closets in the museum house. There we go,
Brian. Scrying session
are very spacious.
Whatever we're doing,
you gonna do it? You can do a scrying session, Brian?
I mean, I don't really know what that means, but as long as it's not Ouija board related, I'm groovy.
I do have a few Ouija boards, but they were donated.
This is not a spirit board. This is you light a tea light, like this guy here, and you put it in front, and it's a form of meditation and connecting with spirit. It's like, you know how you like see like the old movies where the mediums have the crystal ball.
Yeah.
They're scrying.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the same thing, basically.
We'll just be meditating and telling the future.
Cool.
All right, Steve. What can we do to flow energy to people? Like all these people see the highlights of the show. They want to see more of you. They want to support you. What's the best way we could do that? Or if there's anything we could promote, we just want you to plug away.
Yeah. Well, I normally do a small paracon at the museum. I did at the old locations. I don't have one planned just yet. But actually, just earlier today, I just made a post thinking about doing a mini version of one at the museum. So if and when that happens late this year, I'll definitely be posting about it.
Mm-hmm.
All my new information is normally posted firstly on the Archive of the Afterlife Facebook page, and also my personal page, Steve Hummel. So, but yeah, just whether you want to do come out to visit during the day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 1 to 7 is our business hours. That's a big support, coming out and visiting during the day. Like I said, we do offer public and private access to the museum at night from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Eventually, one of my ideas is, and it's not set in stone yet because it's going to take a little bit more money.
Okay.
But I'm planning on taking an area or room or adding a room, however I can, and maybe adding a bunk room, put a couple, maybe like 2 sets of bunks in it, maybe a twin size bed, so there's like a sleeping room. Because where I'm at in Cameron, there's no hotels, there's no B&Bs there. So it's like 18 miles from Moundsville to Cameron, 18 miles back from Cameron to Moundsville. So, and that's where the hotels are at. So I was just trying to think of a way to, when people do the overnight, so that there would be a place for them to at least get a few winks of sleep, so you're not driving back half asleep to get to Moundsville to go to sleep. So
Now you have to do the supernatural thing and guard the door with a pile of salt and everything.
oh no. All my homies get free reign.
Oh no!
And honestly, I obviously would trust you guys and anyone you felt was, trustworthy enough to come with you. I would obviously trust them, but like there's some people you can't trust. I would read a bed in each room and just say, you know what, you're sleeping with the items.
Ooh, get like a rolling cot.
Full capacity here tonight, baby. You're getting crammed in like sardines, and you don't even know it.
I will say this: it's a kooky old house.
Okay,
I love it. Let's do it.
Kooky old house. I like that. It's haunted, then? Is that what it means?
I would comfortably say so.
Okay.
I would comfortably say so. I had one person. Now, this was just one of my daytime tourists, if you will. I did not get her name because I was kind of humbled. I was kind of at a loss for words for what she said, because it's not what I'm after. Based off what she said. She said she's been to a couple, museums that embrace the oddities, embrace the paranormal. She had been at one point in close proximity to the Annabelle doll. And she said for her, the one doll I have in my collection, the Hope doll, bothered her more. Earlier today, I opened up for a friend of mine, Russell Abasis the third or whatever. He came up with a couple of the people, and one of their people had to leave the dark room early because he felt heavily oppressed by the Hope doll. And like I said earlier, and I forgot to get to, there's been a lot of recent activity and documented evidence really supporting the fact that she, again, I want to say this, pardon my French, she's a nasty bitch. She really is. We took her out of the case when my friend Sean Austin was here with his friend to investigate with her, because Hope's been known to move. So we took her out and put her in our seance chair. We have a chair that's for the entity that visits us only. Ooh. And we put her in that chair. And as we took her out of that chair, as I took her out of the case and put her in the chair, we heard a disembodied little girl giggle and then a growling sound. And I will say this, and you can contact Sean Austin. He was the same guy. Just recently with Ghost Loop, the TV show, but he's been investigating for years prior. 2 of the EVPs we captured, and I wouldn't have believed them unless I heard them. They were very easy to understand. One of them said, you get kind of chills talking about it. It said, "Hail Satan."
What?
Yes. And there's not a lot we know about this doll that I know about, because the guy that my friend Judy got him off of died shortly after that she gave me the doll.
So it said you faded out. It said "Hail Satan."
Yes.
And so,
and like I said, Sean Austin has that documented.
What?
He's also a demonologist.
So with now I know you have a background in demonology.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
ordained.
with the when you hear something like "Hail Satan," like is that like a legit satanic thing? I mean, I have friends that are Satanists, and I have friends that are into things like you don't really hear them say "Hail Satan." It's not
Right.
like
I don't particularly 100% believe that automatically means that, but given that the numerous reports of what people have said about feeling about being around the doll, some people even nauseous where they left the room. The fact that not one person that's looked at that doll will ever stare and look at it. Like, because some people, you think of it, when a lot of people come in during the day tours, they're not seasoned like we are, investigators, researchers. So a lot of people are coming into the the archive to experience something consciously or unconsciously. That's what they want to do because they're unfamiliar with it. Those are the people I pay more attention to because a lot of the energies that are in my collection are very foreign to those people. So you're going to get more than likely a very raw reaction to it. And I'll watch people when I give them the walkthrough. And if not, I ask Vicky, how do they react in the dark room? Because Vicky's she puts in a lot of time. She's an amazing person. Helps out with the museum, and she knows what I would look for if she's the one doing the walkthrough. And she says people will not look at her directly for long amounts of time. Like they'll look at her like this and just kind of look away.
Do we have a picture of her anywhere?
I did. I don't know if I'll be able to access.
Is it on the archives Afterlife?
Let me try something. Can you still see me? Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Without me screwing this up. I don't know how it's going to work.
If you want it... Ooh, what is this doll?
I got an idea. What do you got? Put it up here.
Let me save it as...
Okay.
Hold on.
Archive.
Ooh. She's got like no eyes. Hold on.
That's not the one. The one with no eyes is the California doll, I believe.
The California doll? Okay. For some reason it didn't save though. Let's see, it's here. Oh, that's why, because I'm a doofus. Here we go.
I want to say I got a picture of her somewhere. Instagram. That is the California doll.
Okay.
That one is another one that's in that room as of recently. We did a overnight, not an overnight, but a mom and her daughter came in on her daughter's birthday trip. Is it in here?
Yeah.
And we were doing a pedal box session. I opened up for a few hours as a way of saying happy birthday and be nice. And I said, just point around the room at certain artifacts. And we're running the pedal box. And I'll tell you a little bit about that item. And she pointed at that doll. And this is the first time ever, personally, that I witnessed any evidence, if you will, or response from that doll. A male voice came across the pedal box and goes, it's possessed. Crystal clear Class A EVP. And I have those sound files as well.
Nice.
I might not have it. I thought I was hoping I would. Wanted to look at that's locales.
Oh, what is this? I don't know why I don't have sound. What is this?
I think it's a perfect way because I know we're like wrapping up and it's the end of the show. We have to see this doll before everything,
I'm trying to find it.
Here, while you're looking, I'm going to play this real quick. Hold on.
What you got? Crying out loud.
If you guys don't have sound, I don't have sound either.
That's my friend Danny did that little intro video for us. From
I don't know why I don't have sound, but I don't. That's why there's no sound right now. But
I don't know if she's in this video or not. She might be in the video.
Oh, wow.
That's the bed frame from Eloise.
nice.
Yeah, we have sound, by the way, Shawn.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't.
Queen casket. That's the old room.
Yeah, this is the old location. Gives you like a sneak
There's
peek.
Charlie.
Yeah. Annie. Nice.
Let's go.
Right?
People are like, I want to go investigate a haunted person. How about investigating this? Look at that. Look at that. All you have to do is freeze frame 1 second, and you're seeing.
Right. What is that we're looking at?
That is a haunted doll that my friend Antonio Gum found for me.
You could freeze frame any of those clips and be like, what is that?
That's
All
the last
of this, I mean, anyone who's got a team out there needs to contact Steve Hummel and set up an investigation later this year, definitely early next year if you're not doing it this year. This is insane.
I mean,
I can't find that picture.
I'm so pumped.
That's okay. We were able to find this video, so that was cool.
Cool.
This just gives you guys an idea. Now, this is at the old location. Man, I wish I could have done something to help as you're doing it. I was just kind of like,
Oh, man.
I was sending the positive vibes out your way.
Hey, it worked. Within
I-
5 trips, the entire museum was moved. So the first day we moved took 4. We used 4 SUVs, and then my friend Vicky started a little GoFundMe account, and she raised about $2,500, I think. So we
Nice.
used a moving company that did an amazing job. We filled up the first trip a 22-foot Penske moving truck, and then the third day was 3 SUVs. The next day, the same moving company used a 15-foot moving van. Then the fourth day, we used two SUVs.
That's crazy.
So we took that
Wait a
was
minute,
that
people
much.
let
items.
your stuff in their cars. Man.
Yeah, talk
A
about
lot of
man.
my friends aren't wrapped too tight, so
I'd be washing my car out with holy water after that.
All right, so
Man, but how do you find this stuff though? I'm sorry, I know we're trying to wrap up. How do you find that wicker casket? Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this. Madison Seminary actually had one sitting out last time I was there. These old wicker caskets it's what they used to keep. Like if you would die in your home, they wouldn't be able to cut the corner when it come right away sometimes. Yeah. So they keep your body in these wicker caskets.
Well, and sometimes people weren't actually dead. So they'd have to wait for the doctor to come out with a stethoscope to actually confirm the person was actually deceased. So at least with the wicker cooling casket, the person could still breathe.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't an enclosed area.
Probably a lot more effective than putting a bell outside of his grave.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine waking up to that?
Right.
My luck, the stupid string would break off.
I know, right?
Famous last words. Really? But no, I collect pretty aggressively. I know with my friend Ricky just walked in, and I started my museum on a few different things. One, I budgeted $50, $50. I started my museum on, and a lot of people telling me that I couldn't, or I shouldn't, or it won't work. So I started again with $50 and a chip on my shoulder. But I also started with a passion and a love for doing paranormal research and collecting what I thought people would enjoy. It started off with ghost stories and a few people's opinions on this and that. And pretty soon maybe I would be doing tours at the penitentiary than one of my volunteers at the diner, because the museum was just a room on the off part of the diner. And I'd come in and someone says, "There's a box for you in the museum room." Someone donated something that creeped them out. And sometimes they would remember to get the story, sometimes they wouldn't. But I'd walk in and it might be a doll. It might be just a random object. Just the other day, I got one of my first ofs for the museum, and this lady had come in a couple weeks ago and said that she had a lot of negativity, a lot of negative energy going on at her house. And she thought it was her dad. She said, "My dad and I were never on good terms. He was a mean person. This, and that." And I didn't pry too much with it.
Mm-hmm.
But she got a hold of me about a week later and said, "I'm going to donate what I feel is causing the problems in my house." So I said, "Okay." I didn't even ask her that right off what it was, because there's nothing that I won't put in the museum. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about my comfort zone. It's not about my opinions. It matters what's, sharing a story. And she sent a letter confirming what it was, and it was her permission. She donated her father's ashes.
Oh,
Wow.
And it's a weird feeling, because I feel bad that yet she and her dad had that type of relationship. No person should have that type of relationship, especially with someone that is close, whether chosen family or blood family. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I felt bad that I had gotten to that point. So I'm hoping at some point that there will be amends made, between she and her father. I'm not gonna treat him any different, because there's two sides to every story.
Yep.
And it could have just been pride on both ends of the spectrum, and pride may have gotten in the way of what would be a good father-daughter relationship. So it is what it is. And unfortunately, collecting items that I collect, sometimes you have to sever yourself from the story, sever yourself from the energy, because
Mm-hmm.
it'll affect your home life.
It's true.
Like I said countless times, and my friend Vicky, when you meet her, when you guys come out, she'll verify. If you sit there long enough, like there's times I'll sit in the museum. Normally it would bother me sitting there for that long, but there's some days like I'll be sitting there and I might be a half hour after closing, I not even realize it. I'm just stuck.
Wow.
Just get stuck right where you're at. So I know you guys didn't mention this or bring it up, but if you are a person who collects haunted items or thinking about it, make sure it's something you want to do.
Yeah.
Because your life, even more so than just being a researcher of the paranormal, your life will never be the same. You will never look at life the same way ever again. So,
I believe it, and I honestly say the same thing just by getting the paranormal altogether.
Yeah.
Because once you open that door, man, there's no closing it. You can walk away from the paranormal and try your best to ignore it, but once you walk through that threshold, man, that door was open. There's no closing it. But I could only imagine. Me personally, because of my family and everything, I don't bring haunted objects into my house. If I end up with anything, I'll store it in. I have a really nice shed that's nice, it's sealed, and I have a garage. So I'll store it there if I have to until I get it to someone like you. The last thing I had was a couple of chairs I took to a haunted location. So it's like I don't know. It is definitely a choice that you have to make, because once you let something into your home, man, you invited it in there. That's the hardest type of thing to get rid of, because you invited it.
And that's where, honestly, a lot of, especially people that go to my church and stuff like that, they don't realize. I mean, in a way, deep down, I believe, God is my rock. Jesus, He saved me. That's why I look at it. But in addition to that, being involved with the paranormal and seeing a lot of what my late brother, he passed away a couple of years ago. what he went through and my family went through because of his spiritual battle, which he won. He won that, but I know who has my back spiritually. So when it comes down to the nitty gritty of it, I know who's got my back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not being cocky. That's not being arrogant. But that's just being confident in who I know who's protecting me.
Definitely.
And, so that's why I can do what I do. Because there's been some things, I think, with some people, seeing how they reacted to some of my items just visiting one day would be completely overwhelming for people. I mean, I'm an empath. I'm ordained. I have help with crossing over. I have helped with helping people help themselves spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing what some people go through, on a spiritual sense, it can be overwhelming because if you're helping someone spiritually, especially let's go out and say it, especially in a demonic case, you're not making any friends.
No.
You're not making any friends. So that's like, in a way, I'm glad that where I'm at in my life now, being only me, being my only family, if you will, like some people have kids, some people, I'm not dragging that home to somebody else.
Right. Definitely.
I think it's a sacrifice that I've had to originally unconsciously make.
Yeah.
But being that I've got some amazing best friends that I've made along the way with PQ, with Vicky and Justin, and whatnot, Like I told my family, I think they've understood it now. I don't have to be buried next to somebody with my last name on it to feel like I've had a fulfilled life. If I've helped people and maintained friendships, relationships with people who were kind enough, nice enough to stick with me through the mountains and the valleys of life, then that's a full life for me.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. I mean, we all look for different things. We all need different things out of life, and everyone's path is going to be different. Not everybody, as much as they push it, getting married, having kids, that's not for everybody, and that is 100% okay, because you're going to go and you're going to have different adventures, and honestly, like me, I got into the paranormal when my oldest was very, very young. So I was led down this path after my kids, and I was led down this path. It was always kind of like an idea in my head, but it was a path that I was led down, and it started with me converting over to Catholicism. Yeah, and I was brought up Jewish, and I was in I didn't have a bar mitzvah or anything. So I was just like kind of like spiritually trying to find myself, and I wanted to find a way where I would be protected spiritually because of experiences I had before, and I just wasn't finding the answers I was looking for. And then as I was like, I met my wife, I ended up going to church, and then I was introduced to Jesus. I was introduced to Saint Michael. I was introduced to all of this, and it led me down the spiritual path to where I'm now investigating the paranormal. I call myself a spiritual Catholic, which is kind of a I don't know, conundrum, right? But it just is what it is. I'm a spiritual person, but I do practice my Catholic faith, and it's who I'm supposed to be. And honestly, I believe that God led me down this path, and so how can it be wrong?
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%, and that's what I tell people. And again, some people have their different belief structures, and that's fine. I'm not bashing that, but I will say, like you, I feel I'm where I need to be. And when you look at the very short time that Christ was on the earth, if you will, he didn't always speak in the temple. He didn't always speak in higher places like that. He got out amongst the people, which is why he was here. He got out in what I call he did the trench warfare. He went to the people. He didn't wait for them to come to him necessarily, but some of them did come to him. And I think that's what at least I feel called to do, being in the paranormal field, because if anything, especially doing residentials, even if you're explaining to somebody that it's just pipes with the floorboard squeaking or it's dust floating in the air, the typical stuff, we're supposed to be there for our fellow human beings. Even you and I and Brian here, we learn something new every day.
Mhm.
And something that we've learned 5 years ago, it might be the first time someone is introduced to that thought when it comes directly from us at present time. What is easy for us might be trivial to them at the time. So I feel being in the paranormal field, if a person's seriously in the paranormal field, if you are seriously researching it, you have a responsibility
Mhm.
to put your personal ego to the side, quit doing the glam shots and all that crap, and you are there to help gather evidence and also be there for your fellow human beings first and foremost. And this is my opinion, I know.
Yeah.
But if you're there for anything other than that, then you just need to get the heck out of the field and make room for people who are going to make a positive difference.
I honestly agree with that. I think that there's just too many people, like they see this as like an opportunity to find some sort of a fame,
Fame, self-fulfillment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that to me, I mean, this is what we do. It's spiritual. And to go and take something that's spiritual. I mean, man, dude, you're messing with the Ouija board.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're doing. That's what you're doing, and people people think. And the reason why I use that analogy is because there's no difference. We're trying to communicate with spirit. You're gonna go out there with your camera as you're filming, and you're gonna act like you're all scared and act like it's all this. But dude, one day you're gonna get what you asked for.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, people talk about Zach Baggins and how people think that he has some sort of dark attachment because he's not as pleasant of a person as he used to be. And I mean, maybe, right? I mean, the fame and the money could be a part of that. But
I know when I met him, it was years ago, and they were doing Paranormal Challenge. Or if you remember that or not, it was at the penitentiary. And he was one of the most down-to-earth, funny, approachable people that I've met, TV personality-wise. So that's what I remember of him. I don't know if he's changed or not. And of course, there's a lot of stress. You got to think, wherever you go with the stature he is, you're going to have people badgering you the entire time, no matter where you're going.
That's true.
And that'll get to you. And that's like music groups, movie stars and stuff, people... And whether they mean to or not, they want to, guess who I met today? And they get that, Yeah. But there's still people, too.
One of my favorite musicians is known for being one of the biggest assholes out there in the industry. That's Maynard James Keenan from Tool, man. He is known for hating his fans, but we still love his music.
Oh, Tool's amazing.
Yeah. So, Michelle. Man, guys, it's 10:30. We
Oh, shoot. We got off on a tangent.
We did. Oh man! But here, real quick, Michelle Thomas says, "I feel you can tell the difference from dust versus orbs." And then Aaron says, "I have too many questions I need answered. It's understanding the science behind the paranormal for me." I'm going to talk. As far as the orb thing,
yeah.
I'm going to put it to you like this. One time, I was helping host a ghost walk through the city of Kent, Ohio. I don't know if you guys are familiar. There's a mass shooting there. There's all sorts of crazy history there. It's a really cool place, a lot of haunted places. So we're just kind of doing a ghost walk throughout the whole town. And this lady was so excited to show me this book that she had of photographs that she took, all of orbs. My only response to her was this. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for sharing that with me and sharing your experiences with me. Close the book. I handed it back to her. I did not give her my opinion. My opinion on orbs. in photographs, it's just too easy to debunk. I can't.
Yeah. And they're so controversial. I mean,
right.
Even if by some chance the 1 in 100th chance or whatever was actual anomaly,
right,
you're still going to get a comment section list full of just no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not.
right.
So, I mean, being that for the 13 to 14 years I worked at the penitentiary doing tours, you just kind of learn to have a vague answer, but all that's what's really interesting. I mean, I'm glad you found, glad you, happy. I mean,
I'm not going to take that away. That's not my job to take away your experiences.
Yeah.
That means that much to you. I'm not going to take away from your experience. But me personally, now I have seen what you would explain as like a orb or energy balls of light come from the ground. I've seen that with my eyes.
Right.
I've never captured it on camera. I've tried. I haven't had any luck with that. That's just me personally. I know some people, they consider themselves experts on these orbs. Maybe that's a better person to go to because I'm not an expert in orbs and I don't put a lot of stock in them. That's just me personally.
That's like with PQ. If it's something that's so controversial, we just don't put it in. It just gets cut out.
Yeah.
Like, especially anything orb-wise, unless we totally 100% feel that it's at least unexplained.
Right.
We might say it's unexplained. We will not call it paranormal. And there's a 1 in 100 chance of that even making the episode.
Right.
We're very picky
on
what we consider. Because the one thing that we really rely on, Dave and Ryan share an apartment, so they're the ones that do like 100% of the 99% because Jason will do some of the audio review. But like Ryan graduated from Point Park School or college in Pittsburgh for cinema production.
Okay.
So he literally has a degree in working with cameras, working with audio. And he's been also editing before and after that point in time. He's got a bachelor's degree in it. So that's what we really, pride ourselves in, is being complete nitpickers of whatever we feel we're comfortable with making one of our documentaries, because the way we look at it, that's going to reflect on us.
100%. 100%. When I was doing the documentaries with Ectovision, I did all the evidence went past me, and I had to debunk everything. And I learned so much from doing that. And we had people that we worked with. So I had a photographer, professional photographer, and I don't mean like a family photographer. This is someone that did professional photography with models and magazines, and we would reach out to them, and they would help. And I learned so much from them. You take this and you learn, and it's just like, oh, so the light reflection and how, if you look, a bug can look. Okay. I'll put it to you like this. There's one piece of evidence, man. It was the coolest thing ever. The psychic was like, oh, I feel something here. And she went like this, and then you see an orb come out from her head. Dude, like anyone would be like, holy cow, that's amazing. They're like, no, hold on. They pause it. They zoom in. You could literally see the wings from the bug.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're right. And so that was from when I first got into the paranormal. So now it's like you kind of learn, like, okay, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and you have to take it, and then learning that not everything is paranormal is. I mean, it's disappointing. It's heartbreaking, man.
That's the first step of being a good researcher.
Definitely, I agree, because that's so hard to do, to let go.
You prove it by disproving it, or trying.
Oh, it's so hard, but it breaks your heart sometimes.
You're just like, dang it! I thought that was awesome.
Oh man, you're like, oh dude, this is awesome. You're like, yes, and then you go and you share it with your team. Man, look at this. This is awesome. Oh, but wait, damn it.
Oh, there's sometimes like literally, and pardon my French, we're just like, son of a bitch.
Right.
You could have sworn when it happened, like that it was something that was going to be amazing to share with people. And you're like, there's a freaking animal outside or something like that.
Oh, man, one time it was a door on the other side of the building. We were at RCI. We had cameras. We did static cameras everywhere. Dude, this is like the timing. Like you go and you check. You have the one window open where you have the the raw footage of what you think is something. You're going through all of your footage, and you're going through everything, and you find, and then all of a sudden the timing, because you try to time your cameras as close as you can, and
yeah,
we
always sync ours.
Yeah, you do your very best to sync them, and then you so then it makes debunk that much easier, and then you find like little cues to make sure that it's right, because you can hear me saying, "Oh my God," like from way off in the distance. So you like listen to that, and then there's like, okay, so I'm going to start here because I know that's where it's at, and figure out the time. Because sometimes you don't always get that recording right at this right time, but then you watch then you see that door going, and it sounds like a door, but on the camera on the other side of the building, it's a freaking Class A EVP saying, "Help me." Oh man, dude. Or like that time, the EVP, Class A EVP that says help, or usually it sounds like help because that's like what your ears usually go to, but then you see someone shift their feet right at that moment. Damn it.
Well, that's like we had one of the last times, second to last time we were at Twin City Opera House in McConnellsville, Ohio. Great place to investigate if you haven't been there. Go. We were up in the catwalk, and all of a sudden we heard this crash, boom, down on the stage below us. To the point where like, what the hell was that? We were like, all of us were like completely startled over that. And what happens was when we were doing evidence review, and Dave, in all honesty, he did not know he did this. When he backed up, someone had put in toys up there for one of the little girls. Okay. When he backed up, he bumped a roll light little rubber, like a rubber ball, and it rolled backwards, and it rolled between us in a space that where the floorboard of the catwalk was far enough away from the actual wall that it fell down and hit the stage. And that's one of those times you're just like, what was that? That was crazy. And then watching the review, you're just like, the wind out of your sails just like going.
Yeah. It sucks, man. But it's part of it.
But we included that in the episode. We do that. We will say, you know what? This happened. We were wrong, or we didn't. We thought it was this and it was that. Mm-hmm. And we will put our debunking in the episodes, and we feel that it needs to be in there.
Here, Tanya Miller. Here, real quick, then we'll wrap up. Okay. Tanya Miller says, if you know you had an experience for sure, but could not prove it, 100% evidence, do you share it or keep it to yourself due to lack of proof?
You know what? If it's something you believe that you experienced, I would see nothing wrong with sharing it. I would maybe just share it with people you knew that would trust you at face value. Mm-hmm. And I feel that there's nothing wrong with that. And if someone asks, can you prove that? You just say, no, I can't prove it, but it's what I experienced.
Definitely.
There's no reason no one should feel hesitant on sharing an experience.
I 1000% agree with that. And you know what? If you do have cameras and you're investigating, like I'd say probably about at least a quarter, at least the really awesome stuff happens off of camera. It's going to happen. You're going to have things that's not documented. And you know what? Those personal experiences are usually are the very best. Hold on to those. And heck yeah, share the hell out of them. Let people know. I mean, it's all about getting the knowledge out there. And
share it with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with sharing personal experiences, even if you can't prove it or back it up. Your happiness shouldn't be predicated on other people. And it all comes back to Steve alluding to why you're doing this in the field. If you're doing this to impress people or convince people, I think you might be in the field for the wrong reason. And I think it's going to lead to a lot of unhappiness. You sharing it with your community should be about sharing the experience, not proving people that it's, 100% accurate or provable. You should be excited to share it with you, your team, and your little community that you have.
Definitely. I mean, you're not sharing it in a documentary. When you're sharing things on a documentary, that's a completely different level. I mean, when you're the type of team like like Steve is on, and like what I was on when we were making these documentaries. The Paranormal Quest, I mean, they want to make sure that what they're showing is to their best ability unexplainable, and that's just the way, you know, it's different when you're going out and you're investigating and you're learning for yourself. For me, I like to go to these historical locations to help preserve their history, and also because it helps me bring that new knowledge I'm going to learn from that investigation onto my private investigations that I'm going to do. And a lot of times I don't have, you know, I'll go and I'll film, I'll review it, but I don't share it on the YouTube channel unless there's something like really, really crazy. Then I'll make a quick little video of it, and that's few and far between. So don't be afraid to share your experiences. I mean, that's, if people want to put you down because of it, then you know what, then maybe it's time for a new circle, because dude, don't let people bring you down. There's too much of that.
Those are the type of people, that put other people down. They're the type of people that have probably the weaker self-esteem, and they're just like that, so they make themselves feel better.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, well, I'm the know-it-all. There's no way to fix those types. On my Facebook page, if you guys want to go to my Facebook page, and it's been on my Facebook page for I don't know how long. The quote, you know how you have like a little quote for yourself? My quote has been the same for the longest time. Never stop learning. The moment you stop learning is the moment you lose. I've always believed that, and it's even more true in the paranormal than in real life. But it's just with everything. You got to keep it open in mind. And if people want to start closing their minds off and think that their shit don't sink and that they're the only ones that are right, then you know what? It's their loss.
Yep, absolutely.
True.
The heck with them.
Right. All right. So real quick, I know we went over by a lot. Can we just remind people real quick how people can find you, how people can find Paranormal Quest, and how people can find archives of the Afterlife? And are you guys still doing the events? You guys used to have the event business. I couldn't find information on that, so I didn't put that on the ticker.
Oh, yes, we are doing Journeys into the Supernatural.
Yes.
The Haunted Tour Company, yes. We just got on a new location coming up, and I forgot to write the date down. Dave's going to kill me. Just go to journeysintothesupernatural.com, and any and all locations that we have available, what tickets we have available, you can find on that website. And the one that I do know, the one that's the next one coming up is the old hospital on College Hill in Williamson, West Virginia. Nice. That place is off the hook crazy. A great energy activity we had there when we shot our episode there. Check it out on Paranormal Quest. If you want to see what it looks like, you see Dave's amazing drone footage that he runs our drone for us, doing our overhead views, and then Ryan and Dave both did a lot of the B-roll there. So it's an amazing location, well worth visiting, and we are hosting one of our Journeys into the Supernatural events there at I think it's called the Old Hospital or the Hospital on College Hill, but it's in Williamson, West Virginia. Nice. JourneysInTheSupernatural.com. Actually, I wrote down May 22nd coming up this weekend is Paranormal Quest's newest episode coming up. Okay. And it was actually filmed at a local area here. I'll let you guys, whoever wants to, check it out and find out for yourselves where we filmed at, and you get a chance to watch the episode. So if you go there, definitely click the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button, and definitely check out our episodes there. And plus, all of our episodes go all the way back to when we first started. So if you want to binge, you are more than welcome to binge on Paranormal Quest. So as for the museum, if you're looking for information on day tours or the night events that we have there, go to the Facebook page, Archive of the Afterlife, the National Museum of the Paranormal. You'll also have access to our website that's also on the Facebook page for any more information that we have there as well.
Awesome.
Thank you. So with that, guys, I want to wish everyone a great night. But first, I hope to see a lot of people this weekend. It's the Parapsychon at Ohio State Reformatory. I don't have a table, but I'm going to be walking around hanging out with my kids and seeing a lot of old friends. And I hope to see people. I'm just so excited that these events are happening again. So I'm excited. This will be my kids' first time seeing a empty and haunted prison. It's going to be the first time seeing a prison, period.
No,
so,
hopefully the last time, too.
Right? Unless it's another haunted one that I'm taking.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
And the thing is, I am kind of nervous, though, because you know how they tell you not to close the cell doors there because you'll get locked in? My son is the type of kid that would lock the cell door, so I have to make sure to keep a short leash on that. But figuratively speaking, I, of course, would not put my son on a leash as much as I would like to. But it's going to be a good time. And with that, guys, please do not forget about ghost hunting for Brian.
Yes.
At the Middle Point School in Middle Point, Ohio. That's Northwest Ohio, guys. And here I'm going to run the link across, and then we will end the show, guys.
Remind me about that so I can get that little care package together for you.
Oh, I will for sure.
To raffle off.
Definitely, I will. Thank you. I appreciate that, Steve, so much. It really means a lot.
No problem.
So, guys, make sure you can even just email me. It is my email. I eventually will pass it on to the Felicias. It's ghosthuntforbrian@gmail.com. Go to find the event, ghosthuntforbrian.eventb.com, and get your tickets before they sell out, because if you wait, you're going to miss out. You don't want to miss out on this. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of really cool people come in, a lot of experienced investigators, and it's a really haunted place, and it's for an awesome cause. So with that, guys, I hope we help you guys over this hump day and help you slide on down into the weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, on this extended episode of Our Paranormal. Everybody, please have a fantastic weekend.
Thanks for your time, Steve, and thank you, everyone.
It's been a blessing being on here, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This paranormal adventure that we're all on, it connects us. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast with your host, Shawn Gilmore.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 10 years.
He was featured on the TV show Paranormal Survivor that airs on Travel Channel.
His passion is creating para-unity.
With your host, Brian Mursell.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 7 years.
He leads his own paranormal team.
He wants to help people start their paranormal adventure or grow their existing one. This is our paranormal adventure. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast.
It's about supporting. It's about making para-unity a real thing, because we all need to support each other within our community. And that's what the show has always been about.